Chapter 1 Dad's Gift. One fine morning, on a small New World island called Kurdran, a beluga-like ship was quietly docked there. At this moment, there was a black-haired boy with a naked upper body and strong muscles on the deck. The young man was about 15 or 16 years old, and his body was about 2 meters tall. At this time, he was holding a large wine barrel in one hand, and while drinking wine depressedly, he muttered, "Dad, this day is really boring, why don't we have tomorrow? Get a fight with Shaki, you know, I've got a sickness that makes me feel uncomfortable all day without a fight." After listening to what the boy said, the man sitting on the captain's throne couldn't help laughing, "Koo-la-la-la. This man is very tall, with a black turban on his head, a white beard with a crescent-shaped upward curve on his face, and a white coat similar to a marine cape, but behind it is not, justice, but the Whitebeard. See the symbol of the band of thieves is Edward Newgate, known as the strongest man in the world. Kala-lala tilde tilde Andre, didn't you just get kicked into the sea by Rayleigh the other day? Has that butt swollen? That old guy Rayleigh, I'm angry when I think about it. If it wasn't for his sneak attack, Shanks and Buggy would have been beaten up by me, but I'll beat Rayleigh to the ground sooner or later. The black-haired boy called Andre. He pouted and said with a displeased expression, but his eyes were firm, obviously not joking. Kola-lala tilde tilde. Edward Newgate laughed, raised his hand, and held down the black-haired boy, with kindness and relief in his eyes. "Andre, my child, Daddy believes in you, will definitely do it in the future." Quote. Edward Newgate has an indescribable love for the child he rescued from the sea 2 years ago. Although the boy looks nothing like himself, he is domineering and tenacious in his words and deeds, as well as his alcoholism. His personality could not help but remind him of himself when he was young, especially in terms of family concept, which is very similar to himself. He regards him as his biological father and treats everyone on the boat as brothers and sisters. Andre put the barrel down and then asked, "By the way, Dad, where are Marco and Josu? Why haven't we seen them since yesterday? Did you let them grab the turf?" After finishing speaking, Andre picked up the wine barrel again depressedly, and gulped down a gulp. "What?" After taking a sip of alcohol, Andre said to Dad Whitebeard, "Dad, let me act alone, I also want to go out and grab the site and smash it." Kola-lala tilde tilde. Edward Newgate raised his hand and rubbed Andre's hair with his hand. "What's the hurry? Your observation hockey hasn't fully mastered. With your current strength, you can't traverse the sea." Quote. It's so depressing. Andre hugged the wine barrel silently. It has been 2 years since he came to this world. For the past 2 years, he has been training strength and martial arts under the guidance of Father Whitebeard day and night. Until half a year ago, Mr. Whitebeard Dad just started teaching him armament hockey and observation hockey. Kala-lala tilde tilde. Edward Newgate rubbed Andre's head dotingly. "Do you remember what day is today?" "What day?" Andre thought for a while, then slapped his forehead. "Could it be Marco's birthday?" "No, I remember his birthday is July. Alas, shouldn't it be Josu's birthday? I forgot to prepare presents for them." Andre grabbed his hair, stood up in a hurry with a monkey face, then quickly ran to the side of the boat and shouted at a bearded strong man who was carrying supplies on the shore, "Leslie, you get me a fast boat. I'm going out to rob." Before Andre finished speaking, he saw Edward Newgate stand up from his seat and stand beside him. "It's your birthday today, silly boy." "Is it my birthday? Strange, I don't remember." Andre looked thoughtful. "Andre, it's strange that you can remember your birthday when you drink every day except for training," Thatch said as he pushed the food cart out. "The dining car is filled with huge platters of manatee roasts and a vat of rum, Andre's favorite food." "Wow whoa tilde I'm going to have a good drink today." Andre looked at the food truck, his eyes straight. Koo-la-la-la tilde tilde. Edward Newgate laughed even more when he saw Andre's appearance, but he grabbed Andre who was about to eat and didn't let him start eating now. "Dad, what's the matter?" Andre said impatiently. He had 3 wishes in his life. One is to have endless meat and drink, the second is to have endless fights every day, third, marry the most beautiful woman in the world. Edward Newgate suppressed his smile, patted Andre on the forehead lovingly and said, "Wait a minute, your brothers are coming back." Oh, Andre followed Father Whitebeard's gaze, and saw a clipper with the flag of the Whitebeard pirates rapidly approaching the Moby Dick. The people on the deck of the clippers were Marco and Josu, who had disappeared for 2 days. When Andre saw Marco and Josu coming back, he immediately shouted to them, "Marco, Josu, come up quickly, the meat is getting cold." Marco and Josu looked at Isho and shook their heads speechlessly. They didn't know how to describe this younger brother. His fighting talent and growth potential were amazing, but he had an extraordinary nerve. After the clipper docked, Marco and Josu boarded the Moby Dick at the fastest speed. At this time, Marco was holding a beautiful case inlaid with gems. Teach, who was chatting with Thatch without a word on the boat, saw the box in Marco's hand, and a light flashed in his eyes, and he thought to himself, could it be it? Teach knew that Whitebeard loved Andre very much, even to the point of doting. Not only did he teach Andre's martial arts and hockey's practice, but he even gave him his surname, which shows how much he loves him. And a father who loves his children so much will definitely leave him the best things in the world. But when he thought that the treasure he had been waiting for more than 10 years was taken away by a hairy boy, Teach's heart lit up with anger, and he looked at Andre with a wicked look in his eyes. Teach's expression was not noticed by other people. Although everyone on the boat was a man who has been galloping in the sea with Father Whitebeard for many years, it is natural to know that this box contains devil fruit, but they are also curious, what kind of fruit will Father Whitebeard bring for Andre? After all, Marco got the mythical phoenix fruit, which is even rarer than Logia, and Josu also got the diamond fruit that ignores physical attacks. Presumably, the fruit given to Andre will not be bad. Marco handed the box to Papa Whitebeard, who immediately handed it over to Andre. "My boy, this is your birthday present." Chapter 2: The Strongest Growth. Devil fruit. Dad, can I not eat this thing? Can't I use my physical strength to dominate this sea? It's just that Andre doesn't understand anything. In fact, before he came to this world, he still longed for devil fruits, but since taking a bath, when he saw Marco and others soaking in the bath with a soft and weak face, he felt there is some resistance to devil fruits. After all, everyday training will cause a lot of sweating. Taking a bath is inevitable, and a hot bath can also help relieve muscle soreness. Kala lala tilde tilde, Whitebeard let out a hearty laugh. This is specially selected by Dad for you, and it is the most suitable for you. Hearing what Father Whitebeard said, except for Marco and Josu, who already knew what fruit was in the box, everyone stretched their necks and guessed what fruit was in the box. Best fruit for Andre. What could it be? And it was chosen by my father himself. After a while, Vista preemptively said, it should be the ancient Eudemon's type. Blenheim held his chin in one hand and said thoughtfully, is it the Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble fruit, with the strongest attack in Logia? After all, Andre is taking the domineering power line. Combined with Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble fruit, it really maximizes his attack power. Quote. It must be the dark fruit. There is no fruit in this world that is more domineering than it. Teach whispered. Listening to everyone's speculation, Andre said impatiently, why guess so much? You'll know if you open it. As Andre opened the box, a purple apple-shaped devil fruit appeared in front of everyone. Everyone took a closer look and saw that there were many lines on the fruit in the shape of arched arms and bulging muscles. Teach was stunned for a moment, and then he thought to himself, what kind of fruit is this? Why have I never seen it in the picture book, but the shape should be paramesha. Andre looked at the apple-shaped devil fruit and asked, Dad, this is... Whitebeard took Andre's shoulder, slapped him heavily on his shoulder, and said with a serious expression, strong fruit, paramesha fruit with the strongest growth, can make you have the strongest body, the most suitable fruit in this world for you. Quote. Strong fruit, paramesha, strongest growth, strongest body. Hearing Whitebeard's explanation, the atmosphere on the ship became extremely solemn. As the strong men who followed Whitebeard to the sea, they also had a lot of research on devil fruits. Although the Logia fruit is not weak, the mythical fruit, which is rarer than Logia, is also stronger than the sky. For example, Marco's phoenix fruit has amazing resilience, so it is called a phoenix, and this fruit Marco has not yet been fully developed. However, Logia's own mythical, in the eyes of everyone, are not worth mentioning in front of Papa Whitebeard's Paramesha. Because everyone who follows Father Whitebeard has seen him destroy an entire island by himself. Not only that, but Father's shaking fruit can also cause earthquakes and tsunamis, and has the power to destroy the world. And the Paramesha strong fruit that can be called the strongest growing fruit by Father Whitebeard, the literal meaning is self-evident, that is to say, this fruit is even more terrifying than the shaking fruit. However, even with that said, the name of this strong fruit is too common. Seeing that the children were very puzzled, Father Whitebeard explained, "It was not long after I sailed the boat. Because the boat leaked, I had to moor on an island for repairs. That night, I encountered a rare accident. The superstorm, the hurricane set off huge waves. The waves are thousands of meters high, overwhelming, and about to engulf the entire island. I thought I was going to die at that time. Just when I was desperate, the benefactor appeared. He was standing on the beach. Come on, first smile at me." Everyone was fascinated by what Whitebeard said, so everyone couldn't help but ask, "What about later?" Later, the man punched the waves that were about to cover the shore, Whitebeard said with emotion, as if he was still recalling his past memories. "Is it enough to defeat the physical power of nature? Is that person the power of the strong fruit?" Andre said, and looked down at the devil fruit in his hand. Whitebeard nodded. Although the Buffalo Atmos was shocked, he still asked inexplicably, "Dad, why is there no legend of him in the world for such a strong person?" Teach is also looking forward to Whitebeard's answer. If there is a Paramesha fruit in this world that is the fruit of strong shock, then his plan will be changed. Zhuangzhuang fruit, as the name implies, is to maximize the physical strength, and speed of the able person, and to explore their own potential, but the more powerful the fruit, the greater the harm to the body when it exerts its strength. You all know this. Yes, explained Whitebeard. Marco and the others nodded at the same time. They knew that although Father Whitebeard's body was still at its peak, every time he used the shock fruit, he would inevitably leave a dark wound on Father Whitebeard's body. The same is true for the strong fruit. Although it can help the owner to explore the potential of the human body and improve the owner's abilities in all aspects, if the owner's potential is limited and cannot withstand the growth of the fruit's strength, it will continue to consume its own life. At the price, in exchange for one's own potential, what is even more terrifying is that every time he uses more power than his own limit can bear. Whitebeard's voice was a little choked, and then he sighed, with a trace of sadness on his face. Everyone took a deep breath. This fruit is too overbearing. If you can't bear it, it's a chronic poison. And the owner does not have the courage and potential to become the strongest, so this strong fruit is tasteless, not as good as the ordinary Logia fruit. Although the following words were not clearly stated, everyone around already understood that the man died after the huge wave was dispersed. Teach shrunk unnaturally in the corner and shuddered. It was the first time he heard such a terrifying devil fruit. Although the growth rate was amazing, he still decided to give up this fruit. Die prematurely. A flash in the pan. Andre couldn't help but think of the word. Father Whitebeard looked at Andre seriously. "My child, after hearing this, do you dare to eat this fruit?" "What dare you?" Andre didn't even think about it. He directly ate the strong fruit. "I'm the man who wants to dominate this sea." Third chapter fall short. Seeing Andre swallowing the devil fruit in one bite, Marco, Josu and others all gave thumbs up. Did you see that? Even the devil fruit, which was worse than shit, was swallowed without changing his face. As expected of the man who talked about the domination of the sea, that was Hockey. At this time, Lakyo, who had an uncle face, walked up to Andre and asked, "Andre, how are you feeling now?" "Yeah, what happened to your body after eating the strong fruit?" Marco also wanted to know, because he and Josu robbed the fruit from the auction house during the night. Kala lala tilde tilde. Father Whitebeard laughed, his eyes also looking forward to Andre's answer. Under the gazes of everyone, Andre clenched his fists and said a shocking sentence. It's nothing special. No change. How is that possible? Josu exclaimed. He remembered that as soon as he ate the devil fruit, he could naturally cover his skin with diamonds. Yeah, how could I not feel it? Marco was equally puzzled, then stared at Andre, resting his chin in one hand. Don't you feel that your strength has improved? Father Whitebeard frowned. Although he has never eaten a strong fruit, he still pays attention to this information over the years. Even if it is a mediocre person, eating after the strong fruit is placed, the strength will also be significantly improved, but it was later limited by his own potential and talent, which caused the strong fruit to be buried. It really hasn't changed. If you don't believe me, you can practice with me, Andre said, and walked to the spacious place. Most people didn't pay attention to the moment when he turned around, the slyness on the corner of his mouth. But most people didn't see it. It didn't mean Marco didn't notice. He was the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates. He was very observant of things, and with what he knew about Andre, if it really didn't change, he couldn't be so calm. It wasn't until he saw the sly smile on Andre's lips that he turned around that he knew the kid was pretending. Huh. Andre glanced around, then fixed his eyes on Teach. Teach, you can practice with me. You and I are about the same strength, and you can best understand whether my strength has changed. Zia ha 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 tilde tilde. Although Teach was smiling, he hated Andre in his heart. He didn't know what was wrong with this kid. As long as he didn't fight, he would be his sparring partner, as if he was deliberately targeting him. And in the past 2 years, Andre's combat power has been rising steadily. Although it can't be described by 1,000 miles, the growth rate has to make people envious of his fighting talent and growth potential, so that every time Teach hides his strength, he was terrified, for fear of revealing his true strength. Come on, Teach, loosen up this kid's bones, so he won't panic all day long. Teach on, give him some color and see. Listening to the sound of the surrounding homes, even if Teach was reluctant, he could only bare his head. Andre, be careful. Teach, do your best. Andre said with a smile, and then put away the smile on his face. The whole person's attitude changed, and Armament Hockey instantly wrapped his fists. There was a sudden uneasiness in Teach's heart. Although he didn't know why, his expression became much more cautious. I'm coming. Fell. Andre rushed towards Teach, and a straight punch slammed into Teach's cheek. Punch speed is only a little faster than yesterday, but Hockey's strength is stronger. Split second, Teach's mind quickly completed the analysis, and then passed Andre's straight punch, pretending to be a little embarrassed. How dare you pretend? Andre's eyes flashed with killing intent, which was fleeting, and then he didn't take back the right fist he punched, and directly raised his elbow, hitting Teach's chest with an elbow. Teach and Andre have fought no less than hundreds of times. They seem to be open and close and overbearing to Andre, but they are actually well aware of the coherent and ruthless punching style, so he instinctively raised his hand and prepared to use his arm to resist Andre's elbow. For Dad, Teach, give me death. Andre roared in his heart. The elbow that hit Teach not only accelerated suddenly, but also hit his heart. Teach's pupils dilated. He didn't expect Andre's elbow to suddenly accelerate and swerve. Is this the power of a strong fruit? Improve your explosive power and mastery of power in a short time. Is he really a rare fighting genius who has mastered the use of the zhuang fruit so quickly? God, he's going to kill me. His mind turned sharply, and a terrible thought flashed through Teach's mind. Thinking too much, Teach struggled with the danger that would be exposed, and increased his strength. Armament Hockey instantly covered his arm. There was a crackling sound, and Andre's elbow collided with Teach's arm. The people on the boat were all experts, so it was obvious that Andre's blow was meant to kill Teach. The elbow smashed Teach's arm. He was castrated and hit Teach's chest directly. Am I going to die? Teach regretted in his heart. although he didn't know why Andre wanted to kill him, but if everything could be done all over again, then he would definitely fight Andre with all his strength. In a flash of lightning, a tall figure flashed by, and then a pair of thick hands blocked between the two, blocking Andre's fatal elbow. With a muffled bang, Andre's elbow was firmly blocked. Father. After seeing that it was Father Whitebeard who blocked his attack, Andre felt an indescribable dullness in his heart. Obviously, it's almost can kill Teach. A snap, Father Whitebeard slapped Andre's face hard with a livid face. This slap was very heavy, and it slapped Andre directly into the side of the guardrail. Not only did blood bleed from the corner of the mouth, but the whole face was swollen. At this time, the boat was silent, and no one dared to speak. Everyone knew Father Whitebeard's temper and knew that he must be very angry now. Because in the eyes of Father Whitebeard, the Whitebeard pirates are a big family, everyone is his child, and there are clear rules that no sibling cannibalism is allowed. Andre, who usually gets along well with everyone, suddenly does something to mutilate siblings. Dad, I was wrong, I wanted to win Teach too much. Andre naturally wouldn't say that Teach planned to kill Dad Whitebeard more than 20 years later, because he knew that in this case, even if he said it no one believed it, not to mention that Teach has been on the ship for more than 10 years. He is very old and has a good relationship with everyone, so he can only make up a reason, hoping to get the forgiveness of Father Whitebeard, and find a chance to kill him in the future. Drop Teach. At this time, Whitebeard's chest heaved violently, and he couldn't believe that Andre would do something to mutilate his family. But he just saw clearly. Andre used the fruit ability to instantly increase his strength and speed after the elbow, and change the target of the elbow, obviously to kill Teach. Andre one last time. Daddy Whitebeard turned around in disappointment and said to Marco, "Lock Andre up." Chapter 4 Things are serious. The Moby Dick didn't have a cell, so after Marco brought Andre into the cabin, he temporarily locked him in the vault. Andre looked at the room full of glowing jewelry and said with a look of disgust, "Marco, can you give me a different place? Can you keep me in the storage room?" Marco really didn't know how to describe Andre. He made such a big mistake, and he could still be so calm. I guess he was the only one in the whole new world, and then said angrily, "Keep you in the storage room, I guess the ship is on the boat. You've run out of wine. Hey, then you have to bring me a few barrels of wine. By the way, I haven't eaten the wine and meat at my birthday party. Remember to bring it to me. I just had a fight and was beaten by my father again." "Slap, I'm starving," Andre said, covering his face. "How dare you talk about the banquet, I'm really being held by you." As the captain of the first team, Marco has always been a big brother in front of Andre. He wanted to teach Andre well, but when his eyes moved to Andre his eyes suddenly widened when he saw his face, and he said in disbelief, "Hey, wasn't your face swollen just now?" "Oh, you said this." Andre raised his hand and scratched his beaten cheek, and said calmly, "Zhuangzhuang fruit has the ability to heal itself, and it can recover its own injuries by consuming physical strength, so this small injury is not considered." "What? Small injury?" Marco swallowed hard. No wonder he was so surprised. He had followed Daddy Whitebeard for so long, and he naturally knew how strong Daddy Whitebeard's hands were. On the deck just now, Father Whitebeard slapped Andre in the face with anger. Even if he were an elite pirate in the New World, he probably wouldn't be able to get up from lying on the ground before he died. "Yeah, Dad is so kind to me. Not only did he save me, he taught me martial arts and hockey, but he also gave me such good fruits." Andre sat on the ground with emotion, caressing the beaten cheek with his hand, and couldn't help but think of the past 2 years in his mind. But when he thinks of the top war more than 20 years later, Andre's heart feels like a fire is burning. "Teach, I must kill you." "Hey," Marco sighed, then sat next to Andre. "Since you know that Daddy loves you, then why do you anger Daddy? Don't you know that in Daddy's eyes, each of us is his most important precious child? The matter of mutilating siblings is still on your birthday. Do you know that for more than a year, my father has been asking us to inquire about Zhuangzhuang fruits?" I know, but I have to do this thing, I have to do it. Andre's eyes were shivering, and then he clenched his fists. He had never enjoyed fatherly love in his original world. Daddy Whitebeard is doting, so he has absolutely every reason to do it. Marco was so angry that he was speechless when he saw Andre's horny look. After a while, he calmed down. Can you tell me the reason? Why are you targeting Teach? In the past, when you practiced against him, you would be very serious. It should be said to be crazy. Did you have a relationship with Teach before you got on the boat? Is it a holiday? Andre was at a loss for words. Although he had seen One Piece King of Pirates in his original world, he couldn't be very familiar with it, and he remembered many plot lines vaguely. However, Father Whitebeard, who was in the war, left a deep impression on him, so after he was boarded by his father, he wanted to change the plot and prevent the tragedy from happening. However, how can he stop him, who is not familiar with many plots? Should we wait until Teach is going to kill Thatch and snatch the dark fruit before stopping him? But this plot seems to be a few years after Ace got on the ship. Andre doesn't know exactly which day it is, and on weekdays, the captains of each division will assign out missions. Unless there are special circumstances, there is no need to cooperate with the flagship Moby Dick. Acting together, so that how Thatch obtained the dark fruit, he did not know. In other words, unless Andre is watching Teach, there is no way to catch the current. The tragedy that happened more than 20 years later took too long and there were too many variables, because since Father Whitebeard could help him find a strong fruit, will there be other heaven-defying devil fruits? Be aware that the world of One Piece, King of Pirates, has incredible things happening every day. And will the reappearing devil fruit become Teach's target? Andre didn't dare to gamble and didn't want to gamble. So there is only one way, that is to cut through the mess quickly, kill Teach when you find an opportunity, and get rid of this hidden danger. So on the deck just now, although Andre's intention to kill was temporary, it was also a good opportunity for him to kill Teach, but unfortunately it fell short and was stopped by Father Whitebeard. Seeing Andre's expression of hesitating to speak, Marco was even more angry, and asked impatiently, "What is your reason? You say, do you know what the consequences of your actions are? Seriously, even if Dad doesn't have the heart to kill you, you'll be kicked off the boat." "What? Get off the boat? It's so serious." Andre was shocked when he heard the words. He just wanted to kill Teach with the newly obtained fruit ability, creating the illusion of manslaughter. He thought that even if Teach was killed, Mr. Whitebeard at most, Dad punished him, and never thought that he would be driven off the boat. Do you guys only know the seriousness of the problem now? You have been on the ship for 2 years, and you should know why our Whitebeard pirates are able to traverse the New World, whether it is Roger, a big pirate like Shaki, or Marine. They don't dare to provoke us easily, because we are a family, we are both prosperous, and we all lose, and whoever dares to hurt our family, then our Whitebeard pirates will definitely fight an eye for an eye. Marco stuck his neck, blushing, Shang's mouth heaving up and down, shivering with anger, obviously annoyed by Andre's reaction. Because he knows that Father Whitebeard intends to train Andre to be his successor, and Andre also has this talent and aptitude, and Father Whitebeard's doting on Andre is also undisguised, not only taking him by his side all the time, but preferring to be himself in battle. Cut a knife, but also pay attention to Andre's battle, lest he be in danger. It is precisely because of this that although everyone on the boat is jealous of Andre, it is hidden in their hearts and never revealed, and their love for the house and Wu, their respect and love for Father Whitebeard, has also been subtly transformed into love for Andre, and trains with him every day. Unreservedly share his accumulated combat experience, point out his shortcomings, and let him grow the fastest. Now, the future successor of the Whitebeard pirates is doing things that mutilate siblings. Even if Father Whitebeard wants to favor Andre, what about the others? Andre lowered his head and murmured, But I have my reasons, I have to do it." Marco grabbed Andre's collar excitedly, and shouted, "Stinky boy, what is the reason, you say?" Quote. Andre shook his head, speechless. Up to now, you still don't want to say it. Do you know that from the establishment of the Whitebeard pirates to the present, the father has not beaten his own child? How sad you have made him. Marco was anxious. His eyes were filled with tears in his eyes. He punched Andre hard, then hugged Andre's head, choked and said, "This is an unforgivable sin." Chapter 5 Exile Island. The development of the situation, as Marco said, Andre, although not executed, will be exiled. The place of exile was chosen on an uninhabited desert island. The island is full of prehistoric behemoths with huge serrated fangs and huge raptors that can cover the sky with their wings. As long as they are bitten, they will be infected. Highly poisonous insects and ubiquitous carnivorous plants, and there are also a large number of sea beasts and sea kings in the surrounding sea area. They want to build a raft and leave. For those with fruit ability, it is almost the same as death. That is to say, if there is no pirate ship passing by, then Andre will be left on this deserted island forever like Kamen on Rare Bird Island. Father Whitebeard didn't say a word to Andre until the moment he got off the boat. Raising his head, Andre could see Teach with a splint on his hands and a bandage standing beside the boat. His eyes were full of viciousness. He didn't need to think about it. He wanted to kill Andre right away, but he was good at hiding. Still trying to put on a sad face, shouting at Andre, "Andre, take care, I don't blame you, I hope to have a chance to meet again." Is cat crying mouse fake mercy? Andre snorted coldly, hoping to see you next time. Teach, you can still laugh. Anchor. Sail. The Moby Dick was about to leave, and Father Whitebeard finally walked to the bow and looked at Andre for the last time, his eyes very complicated. Is it disappointment for me? Is it pain for me? Andre sighed and watched the Moby Dick sail away. He didn't hate Father Whitebeard for exiling him, because even if he was given another chance to come back, he would kill Teach and eradicate this cancer at all costs. It was not until the Moby Dick disappeared on the horizon that Andre packed up and walked to the island with a simple package on his back. That he has come, he will be at ease. Although he cannot leave this island for the time being, Andre doesn't want to be pitiful. He is willing to fill his stomach first if he has time to spare. After entering the jungle, Andre soon found a huge saber-toothed tiger hundreds of meters away, and the saber-toothed tiger apparently found him, ready to treat this weird monkey as a snack. This saber-toothed tiger is huge, more than 4 meters high and 7 meters long. Its limbs are strong and powerful. Its long tail is like a steel whip, and the huge fangs exposed outside its mouth are 2 meters long. There is no doubt that this saber-toothed tiger has strong attack power and aggressiveness. I'll take you for lunch. Andre grinned Isho before flexing his muscles, bones rattling and crunching. This isn't an arena, and Andre isn't a gladiator, so no one's calling the fight. Battle was imminent, and Andre didn't plan to use hockey, as he was taking this opportunity to familiarize himself with the use of the strong fruit. I saw his legs together, and the whole person disappeared in place. Speed burst. One of the abilities of the strong fruit allows Andre to explode the speed of sound in an instant. In the air, only the afterimage produced by his high-speed movement is left, and the speed is as fast as a ghost. The saber-toothed tiger did not expect that Andre would take the initiative to attack it, which completely subverted its concept. Power burst. One of the abilities of Zhuangzhuang fruit can make Andre instantly burst out 10 times his own strength. At the birthday banquet, Andre used the burst of speed and strength, unexpectedly, and almost killed Teach. There was a loud bang, followed by a click, and the saber-toothed tiger's body was thrown backwards. With a bang, the saber-toothed tiger's body fell heavily to the ground, creating a deep pit on the ground, and its head was completely deformed. Even though the skull was wrapped in thick tiger skin, under Andre's heavy punch, the entire body was completely deformed. The tiger's head was shattered, and the brains and blood were scattered all over the floor, like a watermelon that had been smashed. Using the saber-toothed tiger's 2 fangs as a razor, Andre quickly picked out all the flesh on the saber-toothed tiger. The fire was started, and the ribs of the saber-toothed tiger were used as the grill. After about 10 minutes, the smell of meat came out from the desert island. Chewing on the half-cooked roast meat, Andrei was barely full, but his only dissatisfaction was that there was no wine on this island, which made him a little depressed, and couldn't help muttering, "Hey, Marco and Josu aren't good enough brothers, so at least leave me a few barrels of wine before leaving." Although he complained, Andrei's hand reached out to his package. This package was packed by Marco for him, and he didn't know what was in it. "Hope there's a bottle," Andrei thought to himself, opening the package neatly with both hands. When I opened the package, I saw a few pieces of clothes, which were still new. Gently patted on clothes, there is no bottle bulge shape. No, really no alcohol. "Marco, you bastard, put a bottle of wine and you'll die. It's over, I have a disease that makes me weak without drinking, and I'm going to die here, my body is weak." Andrei tossed the package and didn't care about the inside. His clothes were scattered all over the place, and he closed his eyes, lay down with his head up, and a large font on the tiger skin. Anyone who knows Andrei knows that he is a daily drinker. It didn't take long before Andrei opened his eyes and glanced at the package on the ground. "Al, what is that?" I saw an envelope exposed among the clothes scattered on the floor. Andrei stood up immediately and quickly picked up the envelope. The envelope was not signed, and it is not known who left it. But when Andrei opened the envelope and saw the photo of him on the boat with Father Whitebeard and others, his eyes instantly became wet, and the water vapor swirled in his eyes. Raising his hand, he wiped the tears from his eyes, and when Andrei was about to put away the group photo, he found that there was still a piece of letter paper in the envelope. The letter begins very briefly, "Do not use the power of the fruit in your practice." It's Daddy's handwriting. Andrei looked excited. Followed by Conqueror, Armament, Observation Hockey, the practice experience and practical application of three-color hockey, and Dad's understanding of the complementarity of fruit ability and hockey over the years. End of the letter. Edward Andrei, you will always be my child, even if you make a big mistake, Dad will not blame you. Dad. The tears dripping from those words were so obvious, Andrei finally couldn't help screaming up to the sky. The huge sound waves resounded throughout the desert island, making raptors, giant beasts, poisonous insects extremely uneasy, even carnivorous plants all slumped. Tears welled up in his eyes, and this time, Andrei didn't wipe them away. The sky was getting darker, and it was the most brutal hunting time on the desert island. Andrei tore off a piece of cloth, blindfolded himself, and walked in the direction of the densest beasts on the island. "Father, I must become the strongest in this world and kill all the enemies who try to hurt you and your brothers." Chapter 6 2 Years of Penance. Be the strongest. Andrei's heart the night he got off the boat. In order to quickly improve his strength, Andrei trained hard. Before dawn, Andrei did high-intensity push-ups and squats with weights on his back to enhance his strength and endurance, starting from 5 tons to 10 tons, in a step-by-step increment. The morning's strength and endurance training didn't end until lunch, after which Andrei carried the same weight and ran around the island until the last ounce of energy was drained to increase his speed. Armament hockey training began in the evening. Although there was no weight-bearing, the risk factor was terrifyingly high. It could be described as a kind of self-abuse training. Armament hockey, as we all know, armament hockey can improve personal defense, acting like invisible armor. It can also increase its own attack power and attack the body of the devil fruit person. In Father Whitebeard's opinion, the strength of armament depends on the speed of condensation and the coverage area. Those who are really good at using armament hockey can condense armament hockey on any part of the body as they wish, so that they can be truly free of swords and guns. At the same time, when actively attacking, it overwhelms the opponent with a faster cohesion speed. In order to practice armament hockey, Andrei first found a silverback giant wolf and let it bite and tear at him with its teeth and claws. While he was biting and tearing at the giant wolf, almost after a little hesitation, in the case of being trapped in the wolf's mouth, quickly condense armament hockey to enhance the condensation speed and coverage area of your armament hockey. Although he was bitten by the silver-backed giant wolf at the beginning, he was bruised all over his body, but fortunately, there is a strong fruit to recover from the injury, which has become Andre's most unique training method. In the process of developing fruit ability, tap their own potential. After 2 months of such training, Andre was no longer satisfied with a silver-backed giant wolf as a sparring. Then, he found 2 or 3, and the number was gradually increasing over time. Day after day, strength, endurance, speed, body strength, armament hockey all improve significantly at high speed, except observation hockey's training is slightly slower. For observation hockey, although the pirates in the New World are no strangers, and most of them have mastered it and can hear the movements of the enemy outside the line of sight, in the eyes of Father Whitebeard, these people are nothing more than rough skins. The reason for this is nothing more than a misunderstanding of observation hockey, or a superficial understanding of it. In Daddy Whitebeard's opinion, he calls observation hockey listening, and the level of listening is divided into 3 levels. The primary level is to use the 5 senses to listen, and if you can master it, it is considered rough. The intermediate level is listening with chi, and if you can master it, it is considered a small achievement. Advanced is listening attentively and being able to master it. Listening with the 5 senses, as the name suggests, is to strengthen the perception of one's 5 senses through observation hockey, and make one's vision, hearing, smell, taste, and touch more sensitive. When Andre was on the Moby Dick, he had already learned how to use observation hockey, but he relied too much on sight and hearing in battle, and did not fully grasp the other 3 senses. Father Whitebeard once said that if Andre met a captain like Marco, he would have absolutely no chance of winning, and it was precisely because of this that Father Whitebeard wouldn't let him go out alone. Therefore, in order to exercise observation hockey and let himself master the primary observation hockey as soon as possible, Andre arranged the rest camp near the den. In the middle of the night, when the beasts came out to hunt, Andre blindfolded his eyes and blocked his ears, in order to almost kill him. The training method stimulates your 3 senses and exercises your observation hockey. After 3 months of such training, Andre was able to cover his eyes, plug his ears, dodge calmly under the attack of the herd, and play with the herd in applause, but this level alone was far from enough for him to do so. Satisfy. After Andre completely mastered the primary observation hockey, he used the urine of a bedbug on the island to interfere with his sense of smell, and held a plant in the air that could paralyze the tongue coating, while not using his hands, just like a human stick, letting the herd attack him. The purpose of doing so is naturally to begin to comprehend the intermediate observation hockey. Father Whitebeard mentioned in his experience that people and chi are closely related. Every inch of the body's skin and every pore can feel the changes in the surrounding chi. With the assistance of observation hockey, it can improve the perception of chi to things, and mastering this, even if it reaches the intermediate observation hockey, even without the help of 5 senses, it can sense the tremors caused by the enemy in the air, and then sense the enemy's position and movement. In order to achieve the intermediate level observation hockey, Andre has suffered a lot. The beasts he played with were turned over by serfs and sang, leaving countless wounds on him, and even several times, they almost got Andre thanks to the recovery ability of Zhuangzhuang fruit. Andre was pulled back from the gate of hell again and again. Fortunately, Emperor Tien paid off. After honing in countless lives and deaths, Andre finally felt the change in chi. Although he was still bloodied by the beasts that night, he finally realized how to use chi to sense. Time flies by like a white horse, and in the blink of an eye, 2 years have passed. 2 years of penance, the 17-year-old Andre has reached a height of 2.2 meters and weighs 100 kilograms. His body is like steel cast with muscles and covered with scars as dense as earthworms. This is the evidence of his 2 years of penance. Today's Andre, even without the explosive power of the strong fruit, can explode at the speed of sound, and the strength of his fist is even more terrifying, enough to smash a 100-meter high hill with one punch. If combined with the fruit's ability, then he even has the confidence to ask Garp the fist to compare whose fist is heavier. At the same time, his own stamina is far beyond that of ordinary masters, and he is tireless even if he is chased by beasts for 3 days and 3 nights. Armament hockey is even more retractable and covers the area. If used at full strength, armament hockey can cover almost the whole body. And 2 months ago, Andre finally awakened Conqueror hockey. According to Father Whitebeard's experience, the use of Conqueror hockey can be considered proficient. There is strength, speed, explosiveness, endurance, and resistance. Now Andre can be said to be a humanoid monster. Only thing that bothers Andre is that his observation hockey has never been able to listen carefully. Regarding this point, Father Whitebeard has only one explanation in his mind: experience it with your heart, and it can be seen that the Father's understanding of advanced observation hockey is not deep. Although this is a son, Andre doesn't force it. He believes in his own talent and potential. If Dad, Roger, Enel and others can comprehend the advanced observation hockey, then he can too. Chapter 7. Hello, is there any wine? The first rays of the morning sun fell on Andre, illuminating his wheatish skin with a golden sheen. Sweat dripped with every punch, and rubble splashed with every punch. There's no shortage of hills on the desert island, enough for Andre to use them as sandbags to harden his fists. Just then, Andre suddenly felt a change in the airflow around him. Today's Andre has mastered the mastery of the intermediate observation hockey. With himself as the center, any airflow changes within a radius of 1 kilometer cannot escape his perception. Even if the breeze blows through the branches, the number of times the branches sway can be heard, clear. And this airflow is obviously affected by those silly birds flapping their wings, but why did they get up so early today? Silly bird is Andre's name for the island's bird of prey. Although the early bird catches the worm, the raptors on this desert island feed on wild beasts and sea beasts from time to time, and beasts and sea beasts usually sleep until noon the next day after hunting at night. Silly birds also sleep until noon and wake up. In other words, something is approaching the island. It should be a good meal that will attract these silly birds to get up early. Thinking of this, Andre suddenly clenched his fists and exploded with a full blow. The heavy fist slammed on the mountain wall, making a loud bang, and then the entire hill cracked thousands of cracks, and these cracks expanded like spider webs. Finally, in the bang-tilde-bang, the hill it shattered abruptly. Looking at the fist-sized stones on the ground, Andre frowned in dissatisfaction. Can't I still break them into pieces? It seems that my practice is not enough, and I still can't grasp the profound meaning of bang in Bangshan fist. Quote, Bangshan fist is a boxing technique used in conjunction with the ability of the fruit. According to Father Whitebeard, his benefactor was to break up the kilometer-high giant waves with one punch, and this scatter is similar to bang. Forcibly break through the obstacles in front of you, but with the fruit ability, you can control your own strength, draw lines with points, and break surfaces with lines. After sighing, Andre put on a pair of shorts made of tiger skin. In the past 2 years on the island, as Andre's body became stronger and stronger, and the training became stronger and stronger, the clothes Marco prepared could not be worn for a long time. Well, fortunately there was no one else on the island, so he was not ashamed to let the little brother sway in the wind. Today, there are ships coming to the island. No matter if the pirates or marines come to the island, they still wrap their lower bodies before knocking them down. At the same time, 16 ships were approaching the desert island with the Seagull Marine emblem on their sails. At this time, on the deck of the flagship stood a strong man with a ferocious expression. He was wearing a Marine Justice cloak, a Marine Vice Admiral uniform, and a helmet engraved with a 2-headed dragon. He was the Vice Admiral Onagumo of the Marine headquarters. Just as Onagumo was watching the birds of prey flying from the deserted island, ready to chop them down and turn them into grilled chicken wings, the sound of blue 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 sounded from the side. A Marine colonel held the phone bug and reported respectfully, "Your Excellency Vice Admiral, the headquarters is calling." Well, wait a moment. Onagumo didn't rush to answer the phone, but grinned and showed a cruel smile, and then the whole figure stepped into the air like stepping in the air. Step by step, it was the moon step in Marine Rokushiki. Deck, facing dozens of raptors, Onagumo's hair suddenly stretched out like an arm, and then 8 knives came out. In an instant, the raptors in the air were cut into pieces and fell into on the deck. Come on, roast these wings, and everything else is washed into the sea. After Onagumo finished instructing the Marines, he walked over to the colonel and picked up the phone bug. Onagumo Vice Admiral, report your current location. Sengoku's voice came from the phone bug. Judging from the phone slave's expression, Sengoku was a little impatient. Onagumo knew what was bothering Sengoku. Since One Piece King of Pirates Roger suddenly turned himself in, Sengoku's mood has been uncertain. To increase Marine's prestige among the public, and make those pirates who are galloping in the New World terrified. On the other hand, I heard that Roger surrendered himself. As a faithful opponent, Shiki, the pirate admiral of the Flying Sky Pirates, threatened to rob the court, and Onagumo's mission was to integrate the marine elites in the New World and go to support the fleet sent by the headquarters. To stop Shiki from going to Logatown, so that the execution day can go smoothly. But there were unforeseen circumstances. Not long after Onagumo led the fleet to set off, they encountered a terrifying storm that not only deviated from the channel, but also touched a reef. 5 ships sank that night, and a large number of ships were different. The level of damage, even his flagship suffered, and now the bottom of the ship is still leaking, and it needs to be, manually, scooped by sailors. It is because of this that Onagumo had to find the nearest island and take a break. Mr. Sengoku, didn't I report this morning? My fleet has hit the rocks and now needs to be repaired. Before Onagumo finished speaking, Sengoku yelled at him. I don't care what your reasons are. Now, I order you to rush to the headquarters and gather with the main force within 3 days. Okay, I see. Onagumo twitched his face and replied bravely. In his opinion, if the ship is repaired here, and then all the cannons and baggage on the ship are discarded, if the ship is sailing at full speed, he can indeed arrive, in time. After the phone worms quieted down, Onagumo ordered the fleet to dock, and then sent sailors ashore to cut wood and repair the damaged ships. Hurry up, if the assembly is delayed, be careful, I will feed you all to the Sea Kings. Onagumo jumped out of the boat as he spoke, staring at the sailors on the shore. The sailors were shocked. They knew that Onagumo was a typical hawk in marine. As long as he could complete the task, he would not hesitate to sacrifice the lives of his subordinates. Come on, take your time. Onagumo scolded, as he asked his adjutant to prepare a table and chair for him. Such a good morning, the sun is warm, you should have a cup of strong tea. Well, there are also grilled wings just now. Onagumo thinks so, but that doesn't mean Andre thinks so. In Andre's opinion, grilled wings must be accompanied by spirits, guo yin. As for strong tea, something old men and women drink. Soon, the two people with different opinions met after the roasted wings were served. Andre shouted at Onagumo, "Hey, is there any wine?" When Onagumo was still tasting strong tea in his taste buds, he raised his head as soon as he heard someone disturbing his interest. When he saw the Whitebeard pirate's tattoo on Andre's body, he suddenly made a pop and took a sip of strong tea. Sprayed out. Damn, how could the Whitebeard people be here? Chapter 8 Earthshaking. Hey, are you deaf? I asked if you had any wine. Andre walked in the direction of Onagumo step by step. Along the way, he was logging. The seamen carrying the wood picked up muskets and knives, and looked at the wild man in horror. If it is an ordinary savage, the sailors will not be afraid, but the arms and back of this savage are tattooed with the logo of the Whitebeard pirates. Who is Whitebeard? As long as the news bird can go, there is a vicious big pirate that no one knows about. That is called the strongest man in the world. A man with the power to destroy this world. The shadow of the famous tree of people, there is no virtuous person under the reputation, and the man who can be feared by Marine headquarters, how strong, needless to say. Not only that, the Whitebeard pirates are all monster-like powerhouses, Marco the Phoenix, Jozu the Diamond. All of them are big villains who are famous in the New World. Even the sailors stationed in the New World all year round choose to flee when they encounter the Whitebeard pirates. It is small to lose face, but it is important to save one's life. Boy, where is Whitebeard? Anagumo sullenly looked behind Andre with a dignified expression, but he was suspicious because when he decided to go to the island, he didn't find any sign of a pirate ship nearby. The Whitebeard pirates, not to mention rushing to the marine headquarters to assemble, whether they can save their lives depends on the mood of the other party. Don't be nervous, Papa isn't here. After Andre finished speaking, he pulled Anagumo's stool over, then sat down, then picked up the grilled wings on the table, and ate it unceremoniously. As soon as he chewed a bite, he said intoxicated, well, it's delicious, your chefs are good, there's nothing to say about this craft, I'll just say, meat with seasonings is the most delicious food in the world. In other words, you're alone. Anagumo breathed a sigh of relief. Ignoring Anagumo directly, Andre shouted at Anagumo's adjutant, where's the wine? Hurry up and bring it. I haven't had it for 2 years. Hurry up, I'm going to have a disease that won't have the strength to drink without it. Hey, I'm about to die of hunger. Drinking like life, haven't had a drink for 2 years. Words reached Anagumo's ears, he couldn't help but ponder. He remembered that 2 years ago, the Whitebeard pirates had a young man who was deeply loved by Whitebeard. People, it's just that I don't know what happened. This teenager suddenly disappeared from the ship and never appeared in the New World again. Could it be him? As Anagumo thought about it, he heard a loud bang and saw his beloved dining table being smashed into pieces by Andre's palm. Are you really deaf? Didn't you hear Lao Su tell you to bring wine? Andre used conqueror haki when speaking, and the voice reached the ears of the sailors, which immediately had a shocking effect, making their hearts palpitate, their legs trembled, and they shivered. Conqueror haki, you really are the little bully from 2 years ago, Edward Andre. Anagumo said in astonishment. Unexpectedly, when he heard the name, Little Overlord, Andre suddenly burst into a rage, and he Conqueror haki directly knocked all the surrounding Marines down, only to hear him roar, Little Overlord. Your whole family is a learning machine. Who gives? The nickname from Lao Su, courting death. Cuckoo tilde tilde the sailors swallowed their saliva and secretly said, worthy of being the successor chosen by Whitebeard, how big is this? His strength is so strong, although he is far inferior to Whitebeard now, but Whitebeard seems to be unknown at his age. Bar. Although Anagumo is also shocked by Andre's strength, as Marine, he has the justice he pursues, and if such a monster is not eliminated as soon as possible, it will definitely be Marine's confidant in the future. Thinking of this, Anagumo returned his life, injected consciousness into his hair, and instantly turned into an 8-knife flow. In the name of absolute justice, Pirate Edward Andre, you should be conscious. Andre snorted coldly and said disapprovingly, oh, be enlightened. Have you been enlightened? What, is he going to single out an entire fleet? Just kidding, we are Marines stationed in the New World, not like ordinary Marines. Betting on Marine's dignity, in the name of absolute justice, die, little bully. The Marines were outraged, and each charged at Andre with a roar as if they had taken gunpowder. Watching the sailors take the initiative to attack Andre, Anagumo nodded with satisfaction, secretly saying, as expected of the sailors stationed in the New World, no matter in terms of strength or courage, they are not comparable to those in the branch, and they deserve to be called elites. Seeing thousands of sailors surrounding him, Andre's eyes flashed with a cold light, and then he stomped heavily on the ground. Earth-shaking. With the help of zhuangzhuang fruit, Andre's right leg was instantly penetrated with surging power. One foot stomped the ground, making a loud rumbling sound, and the whole earth was like an earthquake. With Andre's right foot as the center, irregular cracks appeared in all directions, and the cracks grew bigger and bigger, like an earthquake, cracking hundreds of meters long, 3 or 4 meters wide, and tens of meters deep. With one blow, almost half of the thousands of Marines fell into the big rift. Andre looked disdainfully at the surrounding Marines, who were already trembling in front of him. A group of trash fish, do you still want to come and die? Also, don't call me little bully anymore, I'll be angry, when I'm angry, I'm scared. An understatement made everyone feel the overbearing power of Andre. Although Anagumo thought that Andre would be very strong, he didn't plan to do it, because there were so many elite Marines, he could be consumed even if it was consumed, but he was wrong, Andre's power far surpassed him's estimate. Seeing Anagumo stammering and speechless, Andre asked the adjutant beside him, by the way, who is that? Perhaps because of fear, Anagumo's adjutant pointed to his face and involuntarily used the honorific, are you talking to me? Yes, I'm calling you. Andre scratched his head, then asked, how many billion bellies am I offering now? 90 million Baileys. What, it's not over 100 million, is your Marine's intelligence department eating shit? I'm so strong, and the reward is not over 100 million. By Andre, the adjutant felt aggrieved. If he knew you were so strong, if he knew you were on this island, I would still dare to stand in front of you. Andre was puzzled for a while, then suddenly remembered something, tilted his head and pointed at Anagumo and said, your name is Anagumo, I heard that you are powerful, it seems that you are still the Vice Admiral of the Marine Headquarters. It's me. Although Anagumo feared Andre's strength, fear did not mean fear. Andre rested his chin in one hand and asked seriously, then let me ask you something. You ask. Anagumo then replied, making a silent gesture with his hand behind him for the adjutant to notify the ship to bombard the beach. If I screw your head off, will my bounty go up to hundreds of millions of Baileys? As soon as Andre finished speaking, the sailors who were still standing around widened their eyes. Chapter 9 Man's Fight. Just because you want to kill me. Anagumo laughed instead of being angry. He was able to stand out in the huge marine and occupy the position of Vice Admiral, which is enough to show his strength. Moreover, over the years, he has also participated in the siege and suppression of Roger many times. In the combat missions of Whitebeard and Shaki, although it is not worth mentioning compared with these monsters, he is not weak enough to be killed by a pirate who has just debuted. Well, it's me, remember my face well, no matter if you end up in hell or underworld. As Andre spoke, he made a pose that he thought was handsome. Don't underestimate people, you brat. Anagumo instantly disappeared in place. As Marine Vice Admiral, his use of shaving has reached a high level. When Anagumo reappeared, he was already behind Andre. Seeing that Andre didn't respond, he was confident that the other party wasn't keeping up with his speed. The new world is very dangerous, just a little Vice Admiral, don't gossip in front of me. With a sneer, when Anagumo slashed the knife at Andre's whole body was covered with armament hockey. Ding ding ding. Mars radiates. Swish tilde tilde Anagumo has a lot of fighting experience. After slashing dozens of knives without effect, he immediately used shaving to distance himself. Impossible, how can your armament hockey be so strong, and how can you? How do you know when you are chopping? Andre asked for Anagumo. Indeed, the reason why Anagumo is called Anagumo, in addition to the 8-knife flow he used to return his life, is mainly due to the speed and angle of his knife, which are often unexpected. In previous battles, many big pirates even the chance to react was suddenly killed by him. Even if they both used observation hockey, the result would be the same. What Anagumo didn't know was that Andre's observation hockey had reached the intermediate level. Although he had not yet comprehended the most advanced observation hockey, in the New World, it was already a rare existence. The moment Anagumo just swung the knife, the changes in the airflow in the air were heard by Andre, so the moment Anagumo slashed the knife, Andre condensed armament hockey. Andre didn't rush to attack, but hooked his finger at Anagumo defiantly, and said with a look of contempt, what else do you have? Use it if you have it, or you won't have a chance. You're too arrogant. Anagumo was furious, and then fired 8 knives at Andre at the same time. These 8 knives were all wrapped in hockey, and combined with Shigan finger pistol, they were like machine guns. Comparing my speed with me. Do you know how I have been in the past 2 years? Andre raised his hand, armament hockey draped over his arms, and a burst of quick punches followed. The fist is facing the blade, which is also armament hockey. Strictly speaking, Anagumo has 8 hands, while Andre has only 1. However, Andre's speed was even faster, and he didn't even bother to use the explosive power of Zhuang Zhuang fruit, and directly controlled Anagumo with his own speed. Impossible. He actually suppressed the Anagumo Vice Admiral. God, how old is he to have such terrifying strength? Watching Anagumo's body getting more and more wounds, Marine's cape had already been scraped into rags by armament hockey on Andre's fist, and gradually, Anagumo's breathing became heavier and he changed from active attack to passive defense. Seeing Anagumo's constant hind legs, Andre's eyes became even crazier, and he punched faster. Is that only your strength? Are you worthy of being Vice Admiral? Then if first become Marine, wouldn't you give up the position of Marshal? Give it to me. Every sentence of icy ridicule was like a heavy hammer hitting the hearts of the sailors. Could it be that justice can't overcome evil? He's still so young. Who among Marine's younger generation is his opponent? Smoker, Zon Taomaru, God. Anagumo's adjutant thought to himself. Damn, different from the panic of other Marines, Anagumo was even more surprised by Andre's strength. According to the intelligence information, the little overlord had only been on the ship for 2 years. Although he was strong at that time, he wanted to win himself. It is impossible at all, but after only 2 years, he seems to have changed as a person, not only suppressing himself, but also distracting himself during the suppression process, which proves that he still has spare power. Thinking of this, Anagumo immediately shed all his strength. Kami-e. During Andre's offense, Anagumo was like a piece of paper, erratic. Marine Rokushiki. Really interesting martial arts. Andre retracted his fist. In the face of absolute justice, the evil pirates will never be able to defeat Marine. Although Anagumo was in a state of embarrassment, as soon as he said these words, the sailors immediately cheered and their morale was lifted. Buzzing, noisy, Andre shouted angrily, and the whole person's mood changed. 2 years of penance on the deserted island, Andre was wandering between life and death, constantly killing all creatures that wanted to take his life. If you don't shut up, believe it or not, I'll send you on your way now. Without Conqueror Haki, you can give such a coercion. The seamen were so frightened that their gums were trembling, and they didn't even dare to breathe. Do you know, in my hometown, there is a saying that if you give you some sunshine, it will be bright. Do you think your strength is very strong? Andre's already knotted muscles suddenly swelled, his blue veins burst out, and his domineering posture looked down upon the world. Are you serious? Anagumo's forehead dripped a lot of cold sweat, but he believed that Marine Rokushiki, who he had practiced for many years, could exhaust Andre's physical strength, no matter how fast and powerful he was, no matter how strong Haki was. Bombed by artillery. With Andre's loud shout, Conqueror Haki released again, and the powerful pressure actually made Anagumo's whole body seem to be frozen. Anagumo was still like this. The surrounding Marines could no longer bear the pressure, and fell to the ground one after another, feeling that it was difficult to breathe. Andre said grimly, I'll give you a chance to attack me with your strongest blow. If you can't satisfy me or try to escape, then you will die miserably. Anagumo's heart shuddered, and for some reason, he didn't think Andre was joking, so he sank his face and lifted his life back. After the 6 katana swords landed, Anagumo ditched the 2 famous swords in his hand at the same time, and then clenched his fists together. Ha 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 .. Andre could hear that Anagumo was serious, and immediately let out a burst of laughter. Head to face is a man's fight. Come on, let me see how powerful you are. Shave. With Anagumo's roar, his speed increased to the limit, and he disappeared in place in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Andre, Rokushiki, 6 styles, the largest round of 6 king guns. At the moment when Anagumo threw his fists, Andre also threw a punch, Bengshin strike. Chapter 10. This IQ is touching. Add more. A duel between the strong. Everyone, stay away. Adjutant Anagumo shouted immediately. Still use you to remind. Those who can survive in the new world, whether they are sailors or pirates, are very aware of the fate of watching the strong duel at close range, so they immediately ran back. Unfortunately, it's still too late. The two powers clashed, and the fists from the strongest to the fiercest collided violently. With the deafening sonic boom in the airwaves generated by the collision between the two not only spread to the surrounding area, they were shocked to death on the spot when they were close, and those who were far away were also sent flying. The yellow sand all over the sky obscures the sky. The yellow sand was like a curtain, covering the two strong men, making it impossible to see the result of the duel for a while. Who exactly won? Probably Anagumo. Vice Admiral won. If he can't win, we're dead. Although the Marines hoped that Anagumo would win, they had no confidence in their hearts. After all, the strength Andre just showed, if the ability of the fruit was not considered, then in terms of speed, strength, hockey, and explosiveness, it was enough to match the headquarters admiral. You all be quiet, the winner must be our vice admiral. Anagumo's lieutenant said firmly. Anagumo's adjutant is not blindly optimistic, but because Rokushiki is the strongest fighting technique that Marine has summed up for hundreds of years, and Rokushiki, 6 styles largest round of 6 king guns hit a little of the whole body's strength, which can play a role. The strongest martial art with 6 times its own strength. Although Anagumo is an 8-blade style in the eyes of most people, good at swordsmanship and speed, but as a strong man who did not rely on fruit ability and eventually became vice admiral, Anagumo's practice in strength is not inferior to Marine Admiral, but he is good at hiding, insidious and sinister, so he is often despised, and Andre, who despised his strength, will undoubtedly lose. The yellow sand gradually dissipated, and I saw a tall figure standing proudly, while Anagumo had fallen to the ground and kept vomiting blood, and there were still broken organs and blood. Andre's heart was broken. Hey, I'm so strong, why do you say I'm going to lose? Do you guys also want to try my strongest mysteries? Andre twisted his neck, soothed his muscles and bones, and looked at Anagumo's adjutant and the other Marines with a playful look on his face. Hiss tilde on the beach, the surviving sailors all gasped and lit up. How is that possible? That's Anagumo Vice Admiral. And you still got hit with the biggest round of the 6 Kings gun head-on. Adjutant Anagumo's face was pale, and he couldn't believe what was in front of him. If Andre also fell to the ground and vomited blood, then he would reluctantly accept the fact that Anagumo was defeated. After all, the 6 Kings spear was a martial art that turned his fist into a shock wave. But what about now? Andre has nothing to do, and he is still in the mood to joke with him. How about a hard hit? What about 6 times the power? Andre remembers that at the Enies lobby, Lucci beat Luffy with the largest 6-round gun, and the mystery is indeed worthy of the name. But don't forget, what he ate was a strong fruit, and the collapse attack just now was a 10-fold increase in the power of the fruit, not to mention the Vice Admiral of Anagumo, even the Marine Admiral, if the devil fruit is not used. The ability to withstand this mountain collapse, it is estimated that he will be severely injured. As for the shock wave generated by the largest round of the 6 Kings spear, it really hurt Andre's internal organs, but his strong fruit has a very strong resilience, coupled with the 2 years of hard work, and the fruit's strengthened body, making him resistant to resistance. Hit hard, thereby minimizing the damage caused by the shock wave. Therefore, even though recovering from the injury to the internal organs requires the loss of 20% of his stamina, Andre is young and strong with sufficient stamina. Including the ground shaking and mountain collapse strikes just now, at most 40% of his stamina was lost, which also caused him to have nothing at all, and he could easily joke with Adjutant Anagumo. Just when Anagumo's adjutant was about to stop talking, he saw that Anagumo used the method of forcibly returning his life and put up a braid to signal to him. This signal is very strange. It always points in the direction of the ship. The braids are up and down, left and right. Do you want me to order the sailors to get on board and leave? No, Onagumo Vice Admiral is an eagle, how could he allow his subordinates to escape? Do you want me to send orders to fire? The more Admiral Onagumo thought, the more frightened he became. He could not help clenching his fists. He really wanted to tell this Mr. Vice Admiral, "Wake up, Your Excellency Vice Admiral. Even if you fire it, Andre will not be injured, but it will bury the thousands of sailors on the beach, including yourself." Out a little force, Onagumo released his life and returned it, and then used observation hockey to sense that the adjutant had not moved for a while, and he couldn't help but feel even more anxious. Was hit so hard that Onagumo's bones, muscles, and internal organs were shattered, and he was able to survive until now. Andre stayed with him on the island, so he signaled to the adjutant to use artillery to sink all the ships, not to let this future Marine's henchman leave this deserted island. However, Onagumo overestimated his adjutant's comprehension ability. He lay on the ground and dangled blindly with his braids for a long time, and people didn't understand it at all. "Okay, I can't stand it anymore, just your IQ is really touching." Andre also began to doubt the IQ of Adjutant Onagumo, whether this is really stupid or fake. "He asked you to order cannons to sink everyone's ship. Don't let me leave this island, understand?" I don't know if it's because of the serious injury, or if Andre's words made Onagumo angry. With a mouthful of thick blood spit out, a generation of strong, Marine Headquarters Vice Admiral Onagumo finally tilted his head. The dead can no longer die. So that's what it is. Some of the sailors who noticed Onagumo's braids dangling around suddenly realized. "Understand your sister. You damn Onagumo, it's not enough to be dead, you have to drag us to be buried on this island." The sailors were furious, and some were even ready to draw their swords. Once Adjutant Onagumo dared to order the cannonade, they drew their swords and slashed him. It was a big deal, and they surrendered to the Whitebeard pirates, thinking that they should not kill the Whitebeard pirates. "Take prisoner. Who, do you want to decide? Hurry up if you want to order the fire, they are all there waiting for you to make a decision. Anyway, I don't care, there are not many beasts on this island, if you are here, there will be enough for me to eat a few years." Andre didn't bother to do it either, because he had already spotted the seamen who were about to move, so he started to scare them. "Eat for several years. Does this little bully like to eat people? Could it be that he was thrown off the ship because he liked to eat people, and he was exiled here? Could it be that he is a half-blood cannibal?" Adjutant Onagumo was startled, and then looked at Andre carefully. Dressed as a savage, and this head and the scars on his body really don't look like a good man and a woman. "I surrender." Adjutant Onagumo was also very straightforward, and threw the knife in his hand. "I surrender too. Don't kill me, I surrender too." Someone took the lead, and someone followed. The sailors, who had lost their morale because of Onagumo's death, finally put down their swords and guns one after another. "Well, very good." Andre looked at the kneeling sea soldiers, nodded with satisfaction, and then said to Adjutant Onagumo, "Help me contact Marine Headquarters, I want to talk to Sengoku about the bounty." Chapter 11 Lawless. Marineford, Marine Headquarters. Sengoku angrily smashed the phone bug. As a Marine Admiral, he is also known as the First Marine, the resourceful general. He is rarely angry like this, even his old comrade in arms and old bastard Garp wouldn't make him so angry. And the culprit who made Sengoku so angry is naturally Andre. Just now, Sengoku received a call from Onagumo's adjutant. He thought it was Onagumo's situation again, and wanted to discuss with him the time to postpone the assembly. In fact, Onagumo did have a situation, and it was a big situation that Sengoku could not predict. "What did you say? Onagumo was killed. Who did it? Did you meet the Whitebeard pirates?" This was Sengoku's first reaction when he heard that Onagumo was killed. Adjutant Onagumo could explain. The voice of the phone bug changed. "Missy, hey, can you hear me? Who are you? Where's the lieutenant just now? Sengoku demanded. Andre's lazy voice came from the phone bug. Oh, my name is Edward Andre. Edward Andre. Who is he? Countless questions flashed through Sengoku's mind. These days he was busy arranging the execution of Roger and the interception of the air pirates, so when he heard Andre when the name came, I didn't even remember it for a while. Edward Andre. Edward. Could it be that he was the adopted son who was adopted by Whitebeard 4 years ago and disappeared 2 years ago? Andre, was Onagumo killed by your Whitebeard pirates? You handed over the phone bug to Whitebeard. I want to have a good chat with him. Sengoku continued to hold back the anger in his heart. Why are you looking for Dad? I killed people, you can just chat with me, and I'm not on Dad's boat. What did you say? You killed Onagumo, and Whitebeard wasn't around. Sengoku showed a look of shock on his face. He remembered reading Andre's information 2 years ago. At that time, although Andre was strong, he faced Onagumo. Such a powerful and experienced headquarters vice admiral had no chance of winning. But just 2 years later, Andre reappeared and killed Onagumo in one fell swoop. Mr. Sengoku, don't be surprised, okay? If you do this, I'll feel ashamed. A rubbish vice admiral like Onagumo. Come with one and I'll kill one, come with two and I'll kill a pair. There was a strong confidence in Andre's lazy voice, and he didn't take Onagumo in his eyes at all, and this was the provocation of Chiguo Marine in front of Sengoku. Seeing that Sengoku didn't speak, Andre didn't bother to ink with him. By the way, Mr. Sengoku, I almost forgot to talk to you. What business? Sengoku asked subconsciously. About my bounty and nickname. I think my bounty is too low, and the nickname is too ugly, don't you think? Bounty. Nickname. Sengoku felt that his IQ was insulted, and Andre's leaping thinking made him a little hard to accept, because this was the first time a pirate took the initiative to call Marine headquarters to discuss bounties and nicknames. Yeah, you see I killed Onagumo, and killed more than 1,000, 2,000. In short, a lot of sailors, and now I have captured a large group of sailors and a fleet. If the bounty is lower than 500 million Baileys, then how can I mess around when I go out? Do you think this is the truth? And my nickname, it's called a learning machine. It's too ugly, or you can get me a Shira tyrant, a bloody butcher type. The point is hockey is handsome, isn't it? Anyway, I have said what I should say. You can give a price. Crunch, crunch, Sengoku's fist crunched. This Whitebeard's adopted son is really lawless. Do you think this is a vegetable market to buy things? Give me a price. Before Sengoku could speak, the phone worm lay down listlessly. Apparently the other party hung up. Hence the scene where Sengoku smashed the phone bug just now. Ha 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 tilde tilde tilde. Seeing Sengoku so angry, Garp couldn't help but burst into laughter. Seeing Garp's schadenfreude appearance, Sengoku was even more annoyed. He walked to Garp's side, snatched the plastic bag from Garp's hand, and poured the senbei into his mouth in front of Garp's face. Garp grabbed Garp's collar and yelled at him, Hey, Sengoku, if you're angry, go to that kid Andre. Why are you taking my senbei? Wu tilde tilde tilde. Although Sengoku sprayed a face by Sagushing, he didn't answer Garp, just iron blue face, a strong chew, as if it was in the amount of grief. It's nerve-wracking. When Garp saw Sengoku like this, he became very serious. He and Sengoku have known each other for decades. Usually, if he bickered with Sengoku, Sengoku would definitely be happy to accompany him, but now Sengoku is really in a good mood. Very bad. At this moment, a sturdy man with a mohawk, beard on his chin, and a marine marshal's cape walked into the office. When will this sea be calm again? The person who spoke was the current marshal of Marine, known as Kong Sora, who was a powerhouse of the same era as Garp, Sengoku, Roger, and Edward Newgate. However, the strong man at this time held a document in his hand with a sad face. You don't care about other things, let's take a look at this first. At this point, Sengoku had already swallowed all the senbei, and hurriedly took the document in his empty hand. Shiki, the admiral of the air pirates. However, unlike the previous reports, this time, the number of Shiki's already huge fleet has increased again, and the increase is not only in quantity, but also in quality. What? Seeing that Sengoku's face changed drastically, Garp immediately came over and grabbed the information. The Mammoth Pirates, the Warsong Pirates, the Explorer Pirates, the Hungry Wolf Pirates, the Little Giant Pirates. Shizuo, it's incredible, what do these big pirates in the New World want? Unite war on Marine. Garp's face also showed a dignified look. No wonder Sora and Sengoku behaved like this. Originally, Shiki, the pirate admiral of the Flying Sky Pirates, was hard enough to deal with. Now it's even more interesting. The big pirates are moving closer to the Flying Sky Pirates. If they gather together, then the army temporarily deployed by the Marine headquarters may not be enough to resist these people. Crane, who had been knitting sweaters for his son in the office, also put down his work and asked in a stern voice, could this be Roger's conspiracy? Did he deliberately surrender himself to cause a war between the pirates and Marine? It's not like, from what I know about Roger, his purpose is not that simple, Sengoku said. Garp also nodded, apparently agreeing with Sengoku's statement. The two of them had been chasing Roger for decades, and they knew what Roger was like. Although he seemed to be laughing and joking on weekdays, he didn't look straight, and he looked rough, but this was exactly what happened to him. The embodiment of his wisdom and ignorance. Otherwise, Roger would not be able to dominate the Great Root and be regarded as One Piece King of Pirates by everyone. Just as the three mainstays of Marine were discussing how to deal with Shiki, suddenly, a captain rushed in a panic. Seeing his panicked appearance, Sengoku asked with a sullen face. It just came. The captain handed Sengoku the image in his hand tremblingly. In the image, Andre is sitting on Onagumo's body, smiling at the camera, holding the wine barrel and Onagumo's head at the same time. Ah! Sengoku's anger surged to the limit, and finally he couldn't help but burst out, only to see him growling, tearing the image to pieces in anger. Chapter 12 Nomination Certificate. How Marine Headquarters priced Andre aside. Because at this time on the beach, there was a tragic scene of mutual murder, and who else could be the culprit of this tragedy except Andre? Since the Whitebeard pirates don't kill captives who surrender, Andre can't break the rules either. However, he knew that the navy in these new worlds were not weak. If he let it go, he would definitely fight him or the Whitebeard pirates again in the future. Can't kill, can't let go, what should I do? Besides, if you want to leave this deserted island and ride this sea, you need someone to drive a ship. And when it comes to boating, Andre doesn't know anything about it. So soon, Andre made a decision. Instead of letting these sailors go, let them join his subordinates. But these sailors are all elites, and they have justice in their minds. It would be bad if they turned their backs and attacked themselves from behind. And Andre didn't expect that once he let go of his tyrannical arrogance, these Marines would bow down and follow him with all his heart. So after thinking about it, he decided to learn from a movie from his previous life, famous name. Now give you a chance, either kill the people around you and join my Zero team, or swim out of here by yourself. Team Zero was made up by Andre himself, because he wasn't an official captain in the Whitebeard Pirates, so naturally he couldn't have a number. As soon as Andre finished speaking, the sailors were dumbfounded. Where is this singing? They have never heard of pirates playing like this before. Onagumo's adjutant thought about it carefully, and suddenly realized something extremely terrifying. Not only was Andre's mind jumping big enough, it seemed reckless, but this strategy was too cruel. Because in this world, whether it is a marine or a pirate, no matter if you have a reasonable reason, killing your companion is equivalent to betrayal, and killing your own comrade will become Marine's sinner. This crime is better than when pirates are even bigger. And this deserted island is surrounded by sea kings and sea beasts. Once they go to the sea, there will be only one result, a dead end. But if you don't want to choose, you can only resist, but resist Andre. Onagumo was killed by Andre with one punch. If he resisted Andre, it would be equivalent to giving him an excuse to kill all the soldiers who surrendered. Is it to kill a companion, betray Marine, and become a Marine sinner? Or to prove the justice in your heart with death? The choice between life and death makes the seamen who have become prisoners in a dilemma, and it is difficult to make a choice. Come on, I don't have that much patience. If you don't make a choice, then I will treat you as if you chose to go to sea. As soon as Andre finished speaking, on the sea not far away, a Tyrannosaurus-like sea king jumped high from the sea, and in its mouth was biting a sea beast with a length of 7 or 8 meters. I fought with you. A sailor with a firm belief, unable to bear the torture, stood up first. But as soon as he finished speaking, Andre threw a stone out. With a muffled bang, the sailor's head was hit by a stone, and his head exploded on the spot, like a rotten tomato, and his brains and blood splattered his companion's face. I don't mind if you choose to resist, really, that's what I'm saying. Andre said, then turned around, and kicked at a speed that was hard to grasp with the naked eye, kicking the sailor who was about to attack him 100 meters away. With a loud bang, a huge pit was smashed on the beach, and a deep footprint was printed on the body of the sailor who was kicked away just now, showing how heavy Andre's foot was. Tyrant, butcher, demon. Countless thoughts arose in the hearts of the sailors. They had never seen such a cruel pirate. Even if they were in the New World, they had seen as many as 8,000 pirates, even the Whitebeard pirates. Never been so savage. Hurry up and make a decision, okay? My time is precious, and I don't have so much spare time to write with you. If you don't want to choose, then I'll choose for you. While talking, Andre kicked the surrounding Marines one by one to the sea like a ball, and let the Sea Kings devour them. Let's go together and fight this devil. Andre with knives in hand. But Andre didn't even bother to move, and when the Marines approached, his legs were thrown out like steel whips. All the sailors who received Andre's whip in the leg died on the spot, just like the sailor who had been kicked away earlier. The only difference is being kicked in the head or being kicked in the stomach. The number of resisting Marines was increasing, but in front of Andre, they didn't even have a chance to shoot. Finally, after witnessing a large number of deaths of his comrades, a sailor couldn't stand this torture, and saw him stand up angrily, suddenly raised his knife, and slashed his comrade's neck. Blood splattered everywhere, and a head flew up. The sailor who was attacked by his companions never thought that the person who attacked him would be his best friend when he died. Hey, that's right. There was a cruel smile on the corner of Andre's mouth, and then he walked towards the sailor. Before he could enter, the sailor picked up the musket beside him and smashed the companion behind him with one shot. Very good, just like this, you are very talented as pirates. Even though Andre said that, he was sneering in his heart. In his opinion, these sailors who can kill without hesitation even with their robes in order to survive are naturally not the partners he wants, let alone become a member of the Whitebeard pirates family, but these people did so today, then they can only follow themselves in the future, and they are so cruel when they kill people, they are also qualified as cannon fodder for the charge. Naturally, the sailors didn't know what Andre was thinking, but even if they knew, they didn't have a choice. Because if you kill your companions, you will live, and if you don't kill your companions, you will die. Going to the sea to survive is also death, and rebelling against Andre will definitely die. This was originally a very complicated logical question, involving the profound question of good and evil in human nature. But once someone makes a decision, the problem becomes much simpler. Those sailors who plan to kill their comrades to survive think so. Anyway, someone has done it, and of course we can do it too. Many sailors figured it out, and felt less guilt in their hearts, and immediately found their target. Had this idea naturally included Onagumo's adjutant. He picked up the knife in his hand and hacked to death 2 sailors in a row. As a certificate, he joined Andre's 0 Division. Jingle, sparks, gold and iron symphony. The bloody fight kicked off on the beach. the blood stained the yellow sand, and the air was filled with the pungent smell of blood. The Zero Squad, known as the Devil at Sea, in the future, took shape. The cannibalism ended soon, and the winner held his head and stood as a winner, looking at Andre with bloodthirsty light in his eyes. The losers are left on the beach forever, waiting for their fate, which may be eaten by beasts or birds of prey, or washed into the sea to be food for sea beasts and sea kings. Andre waved his hand and shouted, "Fix the ship, collect supplies, set sail tomorrow, target Sabayati archipelago." Chapter 13 5-bar system. The next day, early morning. As Onagumo's adjutant, Nock looked at Andre, who was sleeping soundly holding the wine barrel, and suddenly had the urge to draw a knife and cut him, but when his hand was on the handle of the knife, he was reluctant to put it down. "What's the use of killing him? I killed 3 Marines yesterday and betrayed Marine. Even if I go back with Andre's head, will Marine forgive me? And if he can really fulfill his promise last night, then following a strong man like him may have a different future." He laughed at himself, and when Nock was about to get up to arrange the sailing, he heard a yawning sound of "ah" from behind. Andre stretched his muscles and walked to the beach. Seeing Andre urinating on the beach, Nock sighed in relief and said to himself, "It's dangerous." Andre shook habitually, then turned around and said to Nock, "Hey, don't make such a dangerous move next time when I'm sleeping, or I'll smash your head." Nock's body trembled, and he took a few steps back subconsciously. Did he just fake sleep? Impossible. Last night Nock saw Andre drank several barrels of wine, and finally fell asleep on the spot holding the barrel, and just like that, it didn't seem like he was pretending to be asleep. Thinking of Andre's strength, an absurd thought appeared in Nock's mind. Could it be that he is also alert when he sleeps? Nock guessed right. Andre has lived on this deserted island for 2 years. For the past 2 years, he has been with the herd, and even slept near the herd at night to exercise observation hockey. Therefore, if he can't be vigilant at all times, it is impossible for him to survive on this barren mountain. The small episode in the morning did not affect the departure. Set sail. With Andre's order, under the command of Nock, 3 ships carrying 495 people left the desert island. Farewell, my second hometown. Standing on the bow of the boat, Andre looked at the deserted island with some nostalgia. On this island, his footprints were left everywhere, where he shed his blood and sweat. Without this deserted island, his strength would not have improved so fast. "Thank you, Dad. Thank you for choosing such a good training ground for me." This in mind, Andre suddenly shouted, "The name of this island will be called Edward Island from now on." Edward Island. Missing Whitebeard. Nock Vivi frowned, thinking to himself, he found that he really couldn't see Andre put aside his tyranny. He is domineering, cruel, and even cruel to the extreme. But last night Andre was holding the wine barrel and talking drunkenly all night. These drunken words were all about Whitebeard's thoughts, just like a wanderer who left his hometown and his old father at home. Nock can understand this, because he also missed his father at home, and this kind of feeling can't be faked. Filial son. Demon. What a complicated person. But soon, Andre changed people again, and the whole person seemed to be crazy, holding a large piece of barbecue in one hand and a barrel of wine in the other, shouting at the blue sky, "I'm back here again. At sea, wash your neck and wait for me, Teach. I must kill you." Who is Teach? It shouldn't be easy to be someone that Andre always misses. Nock likes to think, but that doesn't mean Andre will give him time to think. "Nock, you damn slacker, hurry up and get me some wine, or I'll reduce you to a bar." Hearing Andre shouting to himself, Nock was startled, and immediately trotted to the storage room for Andre to fetch the wine, and then trotted to deliver the wine. Then he was relieved, and looked at the 2 on the lieutenant colonel's cloak excitedly. Road bar epaulets. 5 bars, what kind of system is this? Nock has never heard of the pirates having such an arrangement of crew levels. However, according to Andre's statement last night, the meritorious deeds of the Zero team can be divided into minor merits, major merits and special merits. naturally rewarding money and rewarding going, while major merit is raising a bar. As long as you can reach 4 bars, you can be a team leader. The team leader can get the opportunity to personally guide Andre, and when you reach 5 bars, you can be a vice captain. Not only will you get the opportunity to personally give pointers, but also serve as Andre's sparring partner. As for the so-called special skills, they can directly reward devil fruits, or armament hockey and observation hockey's cultivation experience. Small merits are like chicken ribs, and the hearts of the people on the ship are like mirrors. You must know that Andre's skills are all handed over by Whitebeard himself. And who is Whitebeard? The strongest man in the world. Will the cultivation experience provided by the people he taught will be poor. Not to mention getting devil fruits. Both marine and pirates know the value of devil fruits, so obtaining devil fruits is equivalent to taking a big step on the road to becoming stronger. But how to count as great merit and how to count as special merit, Andre didn't say clearly. Maybe this is also a test for them. In Nock's view, Andre is using carrots and sticks to firmly control them. In fact, Nock thought too much, and he thought wrong, because Andre didn't think so much at all. The 5-bar military rank system was purely because he drank too much, and his interest came to play a prank. But Andre didn't expect that his bad taste would become the current and future pursuit of Nock and others, and open a door to the strong for them. Even if I can't rise to the 5th bar, I will rise to the 4th bar, make a special merit, and become a strong man in this sea. Nock looked at Andre's back and swore secretly. There are many sailors who have the same idea as Nock. It should be said that they are the pirates of the Zero team. In the past, they could not see the hope of being promoted to the strong at the bottom, but now it is different. Just follow in the footsteps of that man, for that if a man sacrifices his life, he has the opportunity to become stronger. Just then, the lookout on the mast shouted, "A news bird is coming." After the news bird dropped a newspaper, it flew away. Nock fetched the newspaper, then walked to Andre's side. "Boss, the newspaper that just arrived." Oh, Andre took the newspaper, first glanced at the front page. It was all about Roger's execution, and never mentioned about Andre's killing of Onagumo. Andre wasn't interested in Roger, he just wanted to know if there was any report of his own, so he quickly scrolled down and finally saw Andre's report and the wanted notice in a corner. Because the speed of turning over the newspaper was too fast, the wanted notice fell to the ground. Seeing that Nock lowered his head to pick it up, Andre ignored it, and then focused on the reports about him. Pirate Edward Andre attacked a marine supply ship on an unknown island. I called his grandma a leg. I obviously attacked an elite marine and killed Vice Admiral Onagumo. Who is he who wrote false reports, and does he have any professional ethics of journalists? I must tear him up. Quote. Andre was furious, swearing and tearing the newspaper to shreds. After Nock glanced at the amount on the wanted notice, a cold sweat broke out on his back, and then tremblingly handed the wanted notice to Andre. "Boss, this is a wanted notice." "Okay, Sengoku, you have the kind, so don't take me seriously." Andre was already angry. When he saw that the reward amount on the wanted list was only 130 million Bailey, he was even more furious. Conqueror Hockey couldn't help but let it out, making the pirates dare not make a sound. Seeing Andre's fury, Nock didn't dare to speak, for fear that the big devil would throw his anger on his head. Going at full speed, I call his grandma a leg. Let's see if I don't turn the Sabayati archipelago upside down. Chapter 14. Don't be coward, just do it. Although the bounty does not represent the strength of an individual, the higher the bounty, the greater the harm to the world government and marine. However, in Andre's view, the bounty is a manifestation of strength. For any big pirate who roams the sea, the bounty on the reward order will be lower than 500 million Bailey. There is no reward higher than this price, and you still say that you are tyrannical. Where is it? In the nest. Although Andre was kicked off the ship, he never forgot in his heart that he was a member of the Whitebeard pirates, and which of the captains under Father Whitebeard would have a lower reward. Although Andre claims to be the captain of the Zero Division, Andre is also because of this. He does not want to lose the reward to anyone, including Marco, which is why he dares to directly challenge Sengoku and ask for a high reward. At the same time, Andre also wanted to use this incident to make a high-profile comeback, to let Father Whitebeard, everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates, and especially Teach know that not only did Andre return to the sea, but he also had the ability to cross the sea. Strength. In other words, Lao Su makes a high-profile appearance. You Marines have to give some face and cheer for me, right? However, Marine headquarters didn't give Andre face so much, didn't give him the headlines, and screwed up his high-profile comeback. Attack the Marine supply ship. And the place given in the newspaper is still a small frame in a corner where adult products are sold. In Andre's eyes, this is humiliation to him. Can he bear this breath? Shouldn't he be angry? What? We're going to riot at the Sabayati archipelago. Nock didn't know about Andre's bizarre thinking, so when he heard Andre say that he was going to make a big fuss about the Sabayati archipelago, Nock's eyes were stared, and the boss with his mouth open was enough to stuff his fist. Andre asked coldly, "What's wrong? Are you cowardly? Can you be coward?" Nock's teeth were shaking. Although Sabayati archipelago is the only place to go to the New World, there are many pirates, businessmen, human traffickers and bounty hunters. Thieves are included. Because the ruler there is Tenryubito. Who is Tenryubito? That is a world noble, and his ancestors are the founders of the world government. Tenryubito was furious, but a lot of people were going to die. It is precisely because of this that Nock said tremblingly, "Boss, if you provoke Tenryubito, but it will attract Admiral's siege." The surrounding pirates also nodded their heads one after another. Although they were all marine sinners, after being caught, at most, they would be put in prison, or in serious cases, they would be executed. But what happened to offending Tenryubito? Not only are they going to die, but their families are implicated, either killed or made slaves of Tenryubito. And Marine Admiral is Marine's highest combat power, but even stronger than Admiral in front of Tenryubito, he doesn't dare to make a mistake. Tenryubito, they're such idiots. Come on, an old man crushes one to death. As for Admiral, humph, Andre snorted angrily, tightening his muscles in an instant, his eyes filled with bloodthirsty and frenzy. Andre is a fighting maniac. Being able to fight with a master can not only make him feel physically and mentally happy, but also improve his combat experience, and also help develop his fruit ability and tap the potential of his body. Moreover, this time I went to Sabayati archipelago to seek revenge for Rayleigh for being kicked off the ship 2 years ago, but now it happened, along with Admiral. So in Andre's mind, offending Tenryubito equals beating Rayleigh plus recruiting Admiral equals revenge plus physical and mental pleasure plus strength enhancement. Don't you want to have a fight with Admiral? Nock swallowed hard. He felt that Andre really lived up to the name of little bully, he was really lawless. But I can't blame Andre. Who made Andre Whitebeard's adopted son? Not long after he got on the boat, Whitebeard's father said to him, "My child, from now on, you will be called Edward Andre, in the name of me, enjoy yourself in this world." It can be said that Whitebeard's domineering and doting, as well as the Whitebeard pirates' rampage in the New World, have created Andre's lawless character. It's just Admiral, don't be a coward, just fuck him. Andre looked fearless, then rubbed his reward, and said with a grim expression, "If you want to blame it, blame the old guy Sengoku, I call his grandma's legs, so it is so looking down on me, only to give me a 40 million bounty. Is it only worth 40 million for a vice admiral from the headquarters and an elite fleet? It's really deceiving." Listening to Andre's thoughts there, Nock had the heart to jump into the sea, and thought to himself, "Boss, can you calm down?" Nock also wondered why Andre went to Sabayati archipelago before, for fear that his character would provoke Tenryubito and attract Marine Admiral. It's really scary what to do. Marine, don't you just give this guy a bounty of hundreds of millions of Baileys? Although the budget of Marine headquarters is limited, who would dare to claim Whitebeard 1.2 billion bounty. And as Whitebeard's adopted son, isn't provoking Andre the same as provoking the Whitebeard pirates? As long as the brain is not damaged by the door panel, few bounty hunters and pirates dare to touch the bad head. This time, it's good, because hundreds of millions of rewards have given the powder keg to Andre. Didn't know was that Marine Headquarters' original intention was to hide the fact that Oniguma was killed and the entire fleet was destroyed, because now the execution day of One Piece King of Pirates Roger is approaching. And the big pirates headed by Shiki gathered one after another to prepare for the robbery, and a war was about to break out. If there is news that Vice Admiral Oniguma was killed by Whitebeard's adopted son Andre at this time, how should Marine Headquarters respond? Although the Marine Headquarters is not afraid of Andre's strength, after all, he is still too young. How can the 17-year-old Andre be stronger? But once the news leaks, will Vice Admiral Onigumo's revenge be avenged? Not reporting is equivalent to backing down, where the justice and face of Marine Headquarters will go. But Marine finds Andre to take revenge, and the Whitebeard pirates will definitely find Marine, plus Golden Lion, a guy who is not afraid of big things. How can Marine Headquarters have time to allocate enough combat power to deal with Whitebeard plus Golden Lion? So the resourceful General Sengoku still made the most correct judgment when he was furious, and that was to temporarily hide the killing of Onigumo, so that Marine's morale would not be affected for the time being, and it would not be in a short time. There is a conflict with the Whitebeard pirates, and he can concentrate his energy and combat power against Shiki, thus ensuring the smooth execution of the execution. It's just that the wise have a lot to think about. Sengoku did all the calculations, but he didn't even take into account the unstable factor of Andre, who is no loss at all. If you have revenge in person, if you don't feel good, just do it, and you are afraid of an egg. P.S. Thank you young master for his low-key and many flowers. Chapter 15 Fishman Island. In fact, there are only two paths to the New World. One is to make a request to the world government, and then directly cross the holy land of Mariajoy at the top of the Red Earth continent, so you can only abandon the ship. Although it costs a lot of money to apply and takes time, it is safe. The other is to first wrap the boat with alchemy resin, a so-called coating. Then dive for 10,000 meters, pass through a huge hole under the red soil continent, and reach the New World through the undersea route, Fishman Island, but the process is very dangerous. Andre robbed Marine's ship. It was impossible to swagger from Saint Emperor Mariajoy to Sabayati Archipelago, not to mention he didn't want to abandon the ship, so he naturally had to take the submarine route to reach Sabayati Archipelago. Fortunately, there are pirates on board who know how to coat, which saves the trouble of stopping the coating halfway. The diving process was very smooth, although except for Andre's flagship, the other two are mass production models, but Marine produced, must be a boutique. The diving speed is still very satisfactory. Just arrived at Fishman Island, Andre, who was standing at the bow of the boat, seemed to have changed his personality. The original anger disappeared. The whole person was like a curious baby. He patted Nock on the shoulder and shouted, "Nock, you look at there are so many fish, man. What kind of miscellaneous is that? How can it grow so big? Hey, is that a mermaid? What a fat tail, how do you think they pee? Is that deep sea fish over there? Is it delicious?" Nock was completely speechless. "Boss, we're going to hit the Sabayati Archipelago soon, can you be serious?" "Boss, let's resupply as soon as possible," Nock said weakly. He had persuaded Andre to give up the plan to attack Sabayati Archipelago in the past few days, but no matter how he persuaded, Andre would not listen at all. "Well, if you want to fight, then we can only give our lives to accompany you." Fortunately, Nock knows that Marine Headquarters has deployed a lot of elite combat power to block Golden Lion these days. As long as they can make a perfect time difference, they can still avoid direct conflict with Marine Headquarters. "Admiral, who stayed at the Marine Headquarters? I can only hope that I can get away by then." Therefore, after the persuasion was ineffective, Nock suggested that Andre throw away all the unnecessary baggage on the ship, including the cannons, shells, bullets, gunpowder and knives and guns on the ship, and reduce the load as much as possible in exchange for the maximum speed and the fastest speed. The speed reaches the Sabayati archipelago. Andre was eager to take revenge, and naturally agreed to Nox's suggestion. Now on the 3 ships, except for 2 barrels of wine in the flagship storage room, there are no other materials. It can be said that in the past 2.5 days, all the pirates, including Andre, were hungry. After landing on the island, Andre gave the order, "Little ones, hurry up, buy me more. Grab some wine and meat." Yes, except for the necessary stay, the pirates all went out and followed Andre off the ship. "The pirates are here. Everyone, run. The pirates are here to rob." Andre Vivi frowned. He just landed on the island not long ago, and there was no pirate flag on the ship, and the pirates under his command did not call for robbery. Why is the island in chaos? Just when Andre was wondering, a fishman who looked like a devil fish ran up in front of them and knelt down in front of Andre. "Mr. Marine, please help us, there is a vicious pirate in front of them." "Island robbery." Andre was furious. "Robbery? How unreasonable. Dare to rob under my eyes." The devil fishman, was greatly moved when he heard it. Although Fishman Island joined the world government 200 years ago, humans still discriminate against fishmen and mermaids, and they don't care about Fishman's life or death. And Fishman Island is the only place to enter the New World, which is the main reason why pirates come to Fishman Island unscrupulously to loot wealth and population. However, before the devil fishman could burst into tears, Andre's next sentence made him almost pass out. Only to hear Andre say, "Who approved them to rob? I haven't robbed yet. Aren't you Marine?" The devil fishman looked at the Marine in disbelief. Although Marine didn't protect Fishman Island, after all, he prided himself on justice and couldn't rob fish like a pirate. The thing about Man Island. When did I say first was Marine? After leaving a sentence, Andre led the minions towards the worst part of the riot. Devil fishman glanced at Andre's marine cape. The word, justice, was missing from the back. At the same time, the blank space on the skin also read, the words of the Zero Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Whitebeard, the devil fishman said tremblingly, and then rolled his eyes, and the whole person collapsed to the ground. Walking to a village, there are destroyed houses everywhere. Fishman is fighting desperately with the pirates in order to defend his home. However, this pirate is obviously not weak in combat. At this time, they have captured dozens of fishmen and several beautiful mermaid chicks. A fat pirate with a big head and a small body, wearing a pirate hat with a disproportionate head and body, stomped a pirate on the ground with one foot, and then grinned and shouted, "Little guys, follow me and loot as much as you want. After this ticket, our big mouth pirates will be famous in the New World." "Oh, long live Captain Cons." The pirates of the Big Mouth Pirates cheered loudly, brandishing their swords and guns. Listening to the cheers of the minions, Captain Cons was very satisfied. He had a hunch that his bounty would grow, and then he would occupy a place in the New World and start his journey of hegemony with the great pirates such as Whitebeard and Golden Lion. Ha 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 tilde. Just when Captain Kongsi was in a good mood, there was an extremely arrogant laughter from the direction of the village entrance. Whether it is a pirate who is looting, or is resisting, or has been captured by the merman and fishman, they all turn their attention to the entrance of the village. I saw a tall figure, followed by a dark marine, walking into the village unhurriedly. Every step I took, it gave people an extremely strong sense of oppression. In the future, we Whitebeard pirates will cover this island, only we are allowed to snatch it, and everyone else will get out of my way. Andre wrapped his arms around Shang. His strong physique and terrifying aura immediately shocked everyone. After being stunned for a while, Kongsi noticed Marine behind Andre, thinking that Marine was impersonating the Whitebeard pirates, and let out a burst of disdainful laughter. "I thought it was Whitebeard, but it turns out to be a fake. Bluffing under the Whitebeard banner." Ahahaha tilde tilde tilde. The pirates of the Kongsi pirates burst into laughter. Fake. Andre clenched his fists, his aura suddenly changed, Conqueror Haki burst out instantly, and directly puffed up his cloak. I am Edward Andre. PS1. Thank you for your comments and flowers, as well as Long Yichen's flowers. PS2. Is there a problem with the direction of the writing, or what? I feel that this book is not read by many people, and Sanfeng does not know what is going on. The reply to the contract application has not come, and I am a bit at a loss. Chapter 16 Fury. The propaganda of the king, the posture of staring at the sky, and the strength of the momentum, how can ordinary people be able to resist? Surrounding the Conqueror Haki spread out, and under Andre's full urging, the houses within a radius of 1 kilometer were covered with large and small cracks, and the coral clumps shattered directly. Okay, so strong, is this the real strength of the boss? Nock and the pirates of Team Zero were half kneeling or lying on the ground, looking at Andre in horror. When Andre released Conqueror Haki, he didn't care about them at all, so they were also victims. Looking at the big mouth pirates again, the corners of Captain Kingsley's mouth were bleeding, and the sound wave was directly directed at him just now, and the minions behind him, who were a little weaker in strength, were directly shocked by the sound wave and burst their eardrums, and were killed on the spot. Fishman and Merman who were involved, they suffered heavy casualties. A flash, Andre disappeared in place. The explosive speed of sound made his body unable to be captured by the naked eye. When he reappeared, Andre was already in front of Captain Kons and looked down at him. Chunky ugly, now you tell me if I'm a fake. You. Kong's eyes were wide open, his mouth was wide open, and he had a horrified expression on his face. You what? Get away from me, you chubby ugly. Andre said, kicking as if casually. Boom, boom. There were loud noises, and Kong's body was like a bowling ball. After crashing into countless houses all the way, he stopped. It's good now, and it directly destroyed half of the village. Andre made such a big noise on Fishman Island, which naturally attracted countless pirates and bounty hunters to gather to watch. When they saw the tragic situation in the village, everyone was too scared to speak. Humph. Andre snorted lightly, then looked at the onlookers around him. I, Edward Andre, as the captain of the Zero Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, officially announced to the world that this Fishman Island will be my Whitebeard from now on. The pirate group's territory, all the pirates, bounty hunters, businessmen who land on the island, even marine, have to pay me tolls. Hey kid, the Whitebeard Pirates don't have your character. That's right, what Team Zero? I've never heard of it. If you want us to pay the toll, don't be kidding, even Whitebeard doesn't have that right. Pirates who can come to the New World from the Four Seas are not weak, although they are also shocked by Andre's strength, but they want to control this place with just a few words, unless the Whitebeard Pirates come in person. When Kongsi saw so many pirates talking, an idea suddenly appeared in his heart. There are so many pirates present to witness. If he is really the captain of Whitebeard's team, then if I defeat him here, what will my reputation be? Not to be able to spread to the New World. Perhaps because of his short stature and ugly appearance since he was a child, Kons wanted to be famous more than anyone else, and defeating Andre was undoubtedly a godsend. Although Andre's strength was very strong, and he had both Conqueror Haki, but he had the swollen fruit. Strong destructive power is not completely without chance. Thinking of this, Kons spit blood from his mouth, held a broken wall with one hand, and stood up with difficulty, but his eyes flashed with greed, and then said to Andre, boy, your strength it's just that kick just now is like tickling me. Hey, that chubby ugly one, can you not lie? Speak well, dry the blood first and then brag. Even after being kicked by Andre, you're still trying to be brave. The corners of the mouths of the pirates watching the excitement twitched, and they murmured inwardly. Because they are all discerning people, Kongsi struggled to get up just now, and he vomited so much blood, it can be seen that he was severely injured. Ironhead Novak, the vice captain of the Big Mouth Pirates, is a fellow countryman of Kons. He grew up wearing a pair of trousers. He didn't know what Khans thought, so he immediately echoed, "Our Captain Khans just now, it was just a sneak attack." He was the man who destroyed a marine fortress and was offered a reward of 98 million Bailey by Marine. Quote, 98 million Bailey. After hearing Novak's words, the pirates all took a deep breath. You must know that Roger is not dead yet, and the era of the great pirates has not yet begun. Apart from the famous great pirates who roam the sea, among the new pirates, the reward is close to 100 million Bailey, and there is indeed a proud capital. Our boss is still a 130 million little bully. As soon as Novak mentioned the bounty, an honest, or rather heartless pirate from Team Zero jumped out. It's just that the pirate hadn't finished speaking, and Andre said with a strong anger, "Kill this talkative thing to death, now, immediately, kill him for me." With a jolt, Nock remembered Andre's anger when he heard, "little bully," and saw the bounty. He was so frightened that he immediately raised his hand and slashed the talkative pirate with a knife, while the surrounding pirates of Team Zero, naturally, they also went up to beat them, and everyone was ruthless and beaten to death. "You won't die if you don't die, you idiot, haven't you noticed the change in the boss's breathing?" To presume the bounty and the nickname of Little Bully in front of the boss is really self-inflicted. Wow, haha, tilde, it turns out that he is the little bully who attacked the supply ship. Laughing at me, Whitebeard's men attacked the supply ship. No, I'm going to laugh. The laughter of the pirates made Andre's forehead add countless tic-tac-toe. Damn Sengoku, these days are over. Andre covered his forehead, anger surging in his heart. Let's retreat first, Nock secretly said badly. He knew that Andre was on the verge of rage, so he immediately fled with someone. Khans didn't know what happened, but he felt that Andre was in a daze, and the fake Marines under him also escaped. This was a good opportunity for sneak attack. He opened his mouth wide, took a deep breath, and the surrounding air, it was as if he was sucked into his stomach, and then his stomach swelled rapidly, and as the air was inhaled, Kong Sis' head slowly retracted into his body. It wasn't until Kong Sis' head disappeared that his face was almost on his neck, and his belly swelled to more than 10 times the size of his original body. Kong Si stopped breathing in air. Ha 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 ha, tilde, go to hell, little bully Andre, air spiral concentrator. Do you still dare to call me a learning machine? You chubby ugly. When Andre's body muscles began to tremble, a thick and rotating shock wave cut through the air and blasted towards Andre at a very fast speed, and the houses passing by were shattered. Andre didn't even move, and his body was still shaking. Could it be that he was frightened? Little bully, although you are very strong, who asked you to turn your back and meet our Captain Khans? Iron-headed Novak had seen Khans destroy a marine fortress with an air enrichment cannon. The pirates around didn't expect the humble Khans to have such terrifying strength, and they all thought that Andre would die. Just when the shock wave was about to hit Andre, he saw Andre raise his hand, armament hockey covering his body. Over and over again, you really don't know how to live or die. There was a loud bang, raising the dust all over the sky. When the dust cleared, Tyrant's figure stood still, and then, Andre jumped high, his arms stretched like a bow. For your stupidity, bear my wrath. 10 times the power burst. 10 times the speed burst. Crashing and shaking. Chapter 17, Ryugu Castle's Shock. Andre disappeared instantly in midair, and when his fist hit the ground heavily, the whole island was like an earthquake. Boom! A loud bang that shocked the world. Whether it was the prison tower, Fishman Street, Geelong Cord Plaza, Coral Hill, or the communication corridor, or the Dragon Palace Castle on the top of Fishman Island, they all felt violent shaking, like an earthquake. Houses are cracking, coral is collapsing, the earth is cracking, and the cracks are spreading. Man with a crown and a body that is bigger than the average mermaid, has thick fluffy orange red hair and beard, has flaming tattoos on his arms, and has thick body hair on his body with a sullen face. Shouted, "What's the matter?" Before Nipton could wait for the reply from his subordinates, his wife, Queen Yiji, walked out quickly with 3 young princes, Shark Star, Emperor Star, and Rollover Star. Empress Otohime looked nervous and said to Neptune, "I heard a man's anger, he was venting." "What? This is caused by one person." Neptune is not only the king of Fishman Island, but also the great knight of the sea, famous for his bravery and skill in battle. He really can't imagine how one person can cause such terrible things. Earthquake. Shocked, Neptune couldn't help but think of a rumor. According to the rumor, the great pirate Edward Newgate could destroy an island by himself. Could it be he who caused the destruction? Empress Eg heard what her husband was thinking, and shook her head. "I can tell that he is a young man, much younger than us." "Impossible, how is it possible?" Neptune's face was blank, frightened, and disturbed. It was not that he lacked courage, but facing a man who was enough to cause an earthquake, even if he was brave, it would not help. "I want to talk to him and ask him to calm down this anger." After Empress Eg finished speaking, she asked the 3 little princes to go to her husband. Seeing that his wife was going into danger, Neptune immediately called the guards to take care of the 3 children, and then said firmly to Queen Otoji, "As a king and a husband, I must go with you. If he really wants to destroy Fishman Island, then I have to fight to the end." Seeing that her husband was so persistent, Queen Otoji nodded. As soon as Neptune and Otoji stepped out of the palace, the left and right ministers rushed over in a panic. Minister Zuo bowed his back and said tremblingly, "Your Majesty, Queen, you can't go out. There is a group of terrifying pirates making trouble outside, and I heard from the pirates who were lucky enough to save their lives. That man is Whitebeard's adopted son." Team Captain, Edward Andre the Bully. Right Minister echoed, "Please prepare for your Majesty and the Queen to take refuge on the island. Even if we sacrifice our lives, we will stop this evil thief. Escort the royal family out of here safely. We are very touched by your loyalty." Neptune held a trident and slammed it heavily on the floor tiles. "But as the king of Fishman Island, I cannot abandon my people." Ministers on the left and right still wanted to speak, but saw Empress Eg waving her hand to signal them to stop talking. "This disaster will be faced by our husband and wife. If we fail, then you should surrender directly and don't make unnecessary sacrifices." After saying that, Otohime and Neptune got on his whale mount and hurried towards Andre's direction. "Ag Empress, Your Majesty the King." Seeing the disappearance of the king and queen, the ministers and guards inside and outside of Ryugu Castle burst into tears. When Otohime and Neptune came to Andre, the original village had completely disappeared, and the houses in the village, probably the ruins of the houses, were all reduced to pieces. In addition to the place where Andre stood, within a kilometer radius, not only a large number of huge cracks up to 100 meters deep were broken into the ground, but also the ground was full of 10-meter high, 1-meter thick sharp cones. What hangs on the ground cone is Khans the Big Mouth, the pirates of the Big Mouth Pirates and the local fishman, as well as the corpses of the watching pirates who didn't have time to escape. At this moment, the entire fishman village was dead silent, and no one could come forward to explain what just happened, because dead people can't speak. Speed is power. These words were not original to Andre. He remembered that old Kizaru liked to kick at the speed of light. By accelerating the power of the instant increase, he could greatly enhance the power of his own attacks. Andre himself can explode the speed of sound. After bursting with 10 times the speed of Zhuangzhuang fruit, he can instantly explode at a speed of Mach 10, while the initial speed of bullet is less than Mach 3, but it is enough to penetrate 21 millimeters. Armor. And the Bengshan Shake Earthquake that Andre used just now is a combat technique that Andre combined the collapse energy and the earthquake energy when he realized the collapse energy and the earthquake energy. Exploding at a certain height in a short period of time, after the terrifying power erupts, and then adding 10 times the power of the explosion, the cottage produces an earthquake similar to that caused by the earthquake fruit. First, the soil and rock layers in the earth are smashed with the collapse force, and finally, through the fluctuation of the vibration force in the earth, a ground cone enough to pierce a 100 mm steel plate is generated, and all the surrounding unsightly debris are killed in one breath. The range of high group damage combat skills. This. After witnessing the completely vanished village, Otoji and Nipton were stuck in their throats, unable to speak for a long time. PS1. A friend asked me about Andre's strong fruit ability setting. Because I didn't describe it much before, I wanted to explain it today, and I didn't want to open a separate chapter. Andre ate the strong fruit, and the strong fruit not only gave the owner the strongest physique, but also allowed him to instantly explode 10 times his own speed and strength. In addition to the explosive power that is instantly improved, the attribute of power can be freely controlled. This attribute includes collapsing strength, shock strength, shaking strength, drilling strength, etc. Bangjin is to concentrate the force on one point. When hitting the target, expand the line with the point and form a surface with the line. As the force deepens, it gradually pushes it flatly to completely destroy the inside of the target. The more lines generated by the point, the greater the destructive power. The stronger it is a pity that if you want to fully master it, you still need a lot of battles, and you can accumulate enough experience through battles to understand the profound meaning of Bangjin. Genjin is different from Bangjin. It is a kind of moving energy, which can fluctuate up and down inside the target, causing resonance. Although it is not as powerful and lethal as Bangjin, it cannot completely destroy the target, but its scope is wider. Shaking strength and shock strength are somewhat similar, and at the same time have the ability to split the earth. Although its destructive power is not as good as that of Bangjin, its damage range is not as good as that of Genjin, but relatively, its destructive power is stronger than that of Bangjin, and its range is wider than that of Bangjin. Also less. As for the drill force, as it literally means, it uses a kind of spiral force. Under the control of Zhuangzhuang fruit, Andre can rotate the force at a high speed, producing terrifying impact and destructive force, and the power is the most powerful. However, drilling strength is a single body damage, and the high-speed rotation of the drilling force consumes the most stamina. If it is not necessary, Andre is not willing to use it. After all, the strength of the strong fruit is too overbearing, and the load on the body is too great. PS2. Thanks to Long Yichen for his 100 reward, Tao Tao Boss for his many flowers and many evaluation votes, and Chen Xiao for his evaluation votes. Chapter 18 Odahime's Good Man Card. Gathering up his courage, Odahime boldly walked up to Andre and asked in a soft voice, "Ask your excellency, why did you destroy Fishman Island? Why did you kill our people for no reason?" "What did you say? Destroy Fishman Island? Kill your people? No, I didn't do that." Andre shrugged and then waved his hand. Although he is domineering, he is a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, and Father Whitebeard will be Fishman Island in the future. Except for the hero Fisher Tai, the Fishmonks are most grateful, benefactor. So he wouldn't do anything that would destroy Dad's image. "But your excellency just now." Otoji had tears in her eyes, pointing to the ordinary fish man and the mermaid who had been pierced and hung on the ground cone. This, Andre was a little embarrassed, scratching his head embarrassedly. "I just wanted to wipe out all those junk, but I didn't expect it to happen like this. Misunderstanding, yes, it's all misunderstanding, pure accidental injury." Has a high-level observation hockey, so she could naturally hear that Andre wasn't lying, but the people were killed and their homes were destroyed. This sadness surged up, and her tears couldn't help flowing out. Hey, don't cry. Andre panicked. His biggest weakness in his past life and this life was that he couldn't stand women crying, especially beautiful women. As long as he saw a woman crying, he was at a loss. At this time, Knock had brought people back. When they saw the village that was so badly damaged, they were secretly glad that they ran fast, or they would definitely be killed instantly by this devastating force. At this time, a pirate saw Andre's embarrassed state, so he volunteered to stand up, pointed at Otoji and shouted, "Our boss told you not to cry, you were deaf." "Look, I've only been a pirate for a few days." This tone, this action, won the essentials of bullying men and women in pirate scum. Yiji was yelled at by the pirate, and her delicate body trembled. Seeing this, Nipton immediately held a trident to protect Yiji behind him. As a man, he could not let a woman stand in front of him. As a husband, he will swear to the death to defend his wife. Seeing that Neptune was about to start a fight, the pirates of Team Zero also rolled up their sleeves. If you want to fight, fight, and you are afraid that your little fish man will fail. Our boss is Edward Andre. Just as the two sides were arguing, they saw Andre's face sullen, kicking the pirate who had just yelled at Otoji flying. I called your grandma a leg, who told you to talk. Before the pirate could defend himself, he heard Andre say again, kill him to death for me, now, immediately, kill him for me. Although I don't know what kind of nerve the boss is getting, no one dares not listen to Andre's words. Remember to Lao Tzu that being domineering in front of the enemy is a strong man, and in front of women, especially beautiful women, gentleness is a man. Do men understand? Do you understand gentleness? All of them are stupid. After Andre finished speaking, he waved his hand impatiently. Grab the meat, grab the wine, grab the supplies, don't be an eyesore in front of Lao Tzu. Yes, boss. Seeing Andre's irritable expression, Nock led the man away wisely. Neptune and Otahime, who were still fond of Andre at first, felt a chill in their hearts when they heard Andre condone the robbery. With tears in her eyes, Yiji said to Andre in a rainy manner, can you stop your subordinates from looting? I beg you. Hey, I can't take it anymore, can you wipe your tears? Andre waved his hands with a headache, and then said to Atsuki, we are pirates, we can eat and drink without robbing them. Quote. With a bang, Neptune dropped the trident in his hand and knelt down in front of Andre. If you just want supplies, we can provide them for free, please don't hurt our people. Unexpectedly, when he saw Neptune kneeling down, Andre was furious and kicked him aside. Kneeling for what? Is Lao Tzu the kind of person who bullies men and women? When he heard, bullying men and bullying women, Neptune's heart tensed, and he looked at his wife in a panic, for fear that Andre would snatch Otoji away. I call your grandma a leg. Your thoughts are so dirty. Although Andre was a virgin man in his previous life, he is naturally a virgin man in this life, but he has a particularly stubborn idea about women. First, she must be beautiful, second, she must be gentle, third, she must be characterful, and finally, the most important point is that she must be a young girl. Although Otoji has the attribute of person, wife, Andre is not surnamed Wang. I know that your excellency is a good person, so please stop your subordinates and don't loot our Fishman Island. As my husband said, we will provide you with the supplies you need for free. I already know what kind of person Andre is. Although he is a strong man with destructive power, but he does not have a grain of sand in his eyes. He has his own ideas and insists on his own ideas. If this kind of person is not thorough, the bad guy, then definitely the good guy. Good person card. Andre got goosebumps. This is the first good person card he has obtained in the 4 years since he came to this world, and the card was issued to him by the royal aristocrat, wife Queen Otahime, which made him a little bit difficult to adapt to. After a short period of discomfort, Andre thought about it and said, well then, if you don't grab it, you won't grab it. Thank you, you are such a good person. Eiji said with sincere gratitude. Good man card X2. Stop, don't send me a good person card. I am determined to dominate the world, and this kind of thing is a good person to let others do it, and what I want to do is to shock the world and let anyone hear me. A great villain whose name is so frightening. After Andre finished speaking, he first recalled the pirates under his command, then took off his cape and threw it to Otoji, and said in a very domineering and confident tone, I didn't bring the pirate flag of the Whitebeard pirates, so just hang up this cloak of mine on the island for now. What do you mean by that, Your Excellency? Atsuki asked in confusion. Andre snorted coldly. From today onwards, this is the site of the Whitebeard pirates. Except for the Whitebeard pirates, whoever passes by will have to pay me tolls, and Marine will do the same, and tell them that they are all on the island. Settle me down, the dragon is coiling for me, the tiger is lying for me. Ask why, because I'm Edward Andre, my dad is Whitebeard Edward Newgate. Thank you, thank you. Itoji and Neptune were stunned when they heard the words, then looked at each other, and shed tears of excitement and emotion, although it sounded that Fishman Island had become the site of the Whitebeard Haza group, but under the protection of two strong men, which pirate group would dare to come to the island to rob in the future. Andre hesitated, scratching his head embarrassedly. By the way, there is one more thing. Seeing Andre hesitating, both Otahime and Neptune looked at him suspiciously. That, can you lend me your wife for a few days, and I will return it to you after I use it up. Chapter 19. What a big misunderstanding. You, what did you say? Neptune's face changed dramatically, and the tall image that Andre had built in his heart just collapsed. Otoji's face was even paler. She didn't expect Andre to be such a person. However, the nervous Andre didn't know that Neptune and Itoji had gone wrong, and thought that Neptune and Itoji had a deep relationship and was reluctant to let her go, so he patted Neptune on the back and said, "It's all men. Don't be so stingy, it's not like I won't give it back to you. When I run out, I'll send it back to you intact, I swear by my Edward Andre name." Which man would generously borrow his wife out? Although Neptune tried his best to hide his face, his anger came from his heart. His body was shaking uncontrollably. He clenched his fists tightly. Due to the force, his nails had sunk deeply into his flesh, and blood kept flowing out. Tick tick. Otoji understands Neptune's character, knows that he is restraining himself, and knows that even if he tries his best, he is not Andre's opponent, but if he offends Andre, he offends the Whitebeard pirates, and Fishman Island not only gets shelter of the Whitebeard pirates, and may be destroyed by Andre's angry wrath. Eiji raised her chest, made up her mind, and said with a look of generous sacrifice to feed the tiger, "If you only want me to be alone, then I am willing to go with you, please fulfill your previous promise." Quote. Eiji, Neptune really wanted to stab himself to death, secretly said, "I am really useless, as a king not only can't protect this country, let it be ravaged by pirates, now as a husband, even his wife can't protect." What's the matter? Although Andre couldn't figure out the situation, he was naturally happy to see Otoji willing to go with him. After all, this time it was an unexpected gain. Eiji, it's all my fault. Neptune lowered his head, tears welling up in his eyes, clenching his teeth so hard that his gums were bleeding. Hey, don't worry, it won't take a few months for you to meet again. I promise you, I will take good care of her. The more Andre said that, the more he directed Neptune into a horrible picture. In the picture, Otoji is forced by Andre to do some slutty things, crying under Andre's silver power, but as Otoji's husband, he has nothing to do. Okay, get the supplies ready, we will set sail after loading the ship. If you have anything else to say, hurry up and get on the ship by yourself. Because of alcohol addiction, Andre said and walked towards his flagship. There are 2 barrels of wine on the flagship, just to satisfy his cravings. Seeing Andre's disappearing figure, Neptune hugged Itsuki hard, trying to melt her into his body, and whispered in her ear, "I'm sorry Itsuki, as a king, I can't let my son go. The people are caught in the flames of war." Eiji could feel Neptune's trembling and said, "Neptune, I know, the children and the country are entrusted to you." After speaking, Otoji gently pushed Neptune's arms away, and then strode towards Andre's flagship. Neptune fell to his knees and beat the ground desperately. Even if the flesh on his fist was blurred, he couldn't feel the slightest pain, because the pain in his hand was nothing compared to the pain in his heart. The supplies were quickly prepared by dozens of strong fishmen, and they were transported to the dock, accompanied by tens of thousands of fishmen and mermaid, who all knew that Otoji sacrificed herself for Fishman Island. Willing to be kidnapped by the crazy, big pirates, so their eyes are full of grief and anger, and they can't wait to kill these pirates. After the supplies were loaded on the ship, Andre ordered the anchor, set sail. Yes, boss. The pirates who were re-equipped with knives and guns were all in high spirits, and their spirits were very good, because they suddenly enjoyed the hatred of those fishman's eyes, the kind of angry eyes appearance. If it wasn't for the fear of being killed by Andre's order, then these pirates would definitely shout, "Fuck you, you have the ability to beat us. It's a pity that none of you dare, because our boss is too strong." This is a morbid idea. In the past, when these pirates were still Marines, they could not have this idea at all. But it is not easy to learn, but it is much easier to learn badly. Anyway, you have already killed your comrade, become a traitor to Marine, and become a pirate. Come out. Ag Niangyang, we are waiting for you to come back. Ag Niangyang, you will always be the queen of our Fishman Island. In addition to Neptune, the princes, ministers, guards and maids, ordinary fishman and mermaid fell to their knees and bowed to the 3 pirate ships. That's all they can do, and the only thing they can do to be grateful. Hearing the shouts echoing in his ears, Andre first took a sip of wine, then looked at Otahime who was holding a plate of meat beside him and said, "I didn't expect you to be so popular on Fishman Island. If you go to participate a super person, wife, happy queen game, sure to win the prize." Quote, "I'm already on your boat, and no matter what you do to me, I won't resist." Otahime looked appointed. "How do you talk to the boss? The boss has a crush on you. It's a blessing that you have cultivated in 3 lifetimes, and all women who want to be our boss women in this sea can line up from Logatown to Marineford, right boss?" The memory pirate said flatteringly, holding the wine barrel. In his opinion, Andre just said one thing and did another thing. First, he used words to coax Otoji's trust, and then he was forcibly grabbing the boat. Although this feeling is a bit weird, Andre is a strong man. The strong in the sea are respected, who dares to say no? Beat me to death, I've said it several times, be gentle with women, do you understand? Unexpectedly, Andre's face sank, and with a wave of his hand, a group of pirates came around, and in front of Otoji and Andre, hacked the self-conscious pirate alive, and threw the body directly into the sea. "You don't have to hide it. If you want my body, then please take it." After Otahime finished speaking, she closed her eyes and waited for Andre to do something humiliating to her. "What are you thinking? What do I want my body for?" Andre's mouth twitched, and he finally understood why Neptune was so excited. It turned out that he had misunderstood him. "You don't want my body, then what do you want? Do you want?" Otoji paused, and a terrible thought emerged in her mind. Did Andre want the ancient weapon, Poseidon the Sea Emperor? Andre stood up, threw away the empty wine barrel, then stared at Otahime and said in a very firm tone, "Yes, I want a boat that can carry my father and me." Quote. Chapter 20 Shelling the Sabayati Archipelago. Ship. When Nak and Otahime heard the word ship, the two of them had very different reactions. The former is doubtful, the latter is shocked. In Nak's view, although the ships they are currently riding are not the top warships in the world, as Onagumo's flagship in the past, whether it is the function, hull, speed, and firepower configuration are extremely excellent, there is absolutely no need to do it again. A new ship, and in order to get a new ship, the Queen of Fishman Island was deliberately robbed, which seems a little unreasonable. If you really need a new ship, wouldn't it be better to go directly to the 7 waters and build another one? And what confuses Nak the most is that even a newly built ship in the 7 waters, without the treasure tree atom as the hull material, still cannot compare to the Moby Dick. After all, as the flagship of Whitebeard, the Moby Dick is a rare super warship in the world. On the other hand, Otoji, as a member of the royal family, naturally has some understanding of ancient weapons. In addition to the real body of the Sea Emperor Poseidon, a mermaid princess who can communicate with the Sea Kings, she also knows about Pluto. The manufacturing map is on the body of the world's first shipbuilder, Fishman Tom. But things about ancient weapons are extremely secretive, and there are only a handful of people in the world who know about it. How did Andre know about it? And he not only knows, but can also find himself accurately. Is he going to use his identity as a chip to force Tom to hand over the design of Hades? Thinking of this, Otoji looked at Andre full of fear. What exactly is this man trying to do? Yeah, what I want is a boat, a boat. Andre's eyes deepened, making it impossible to guess what he was thinking. Is it just a boat? Nock looked at Andre's back, and suddenly felt a trace of loneliness and sadness in the figure of the man who awed him. Was it his own illusion? After finishing speaking, Andre suddenly raised his arms high, his momentum changed instantly, showing a tyrannical state, and burst into laughter. Ha 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 tilde tilde tilde. Conqueror Haki's heart moved at will, and he released it, causing everyone around him to kneel or lie on the ground. The remnants of any era, good and evil, go to hell, these have nothing to do with me, because I am Edward Andre, I swear in my name, I will use this life to carry out the road of hegemony, create a new era with your own iron fist. Ha 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 tilde tilde tilde. Creating an era, the boss is really crazy, but I'm so excited. Nock, who was already half kneeling, looked at Andre, who looked like a madman on the bow, like an overlord, and listened to him as if not only did Nock not find the oath like a mental illness, but he also felt a kind of blood boiling in his chest, as if it was about to burn. Andre's laughter stopped, the three ships burst into cheers at the same time. Pirates don't know the reason. It seems that Andre has an inexplicable infectious power. This infectious power makes them more and more fanatical. In response to Andre, always follow the boss, always follow the boss, always follow the boss. The cheers were like a mountain and a tsunami, causing Otoji, who was originally uneasy, to have an indescribable panic in her heart. She originally thought that Andre's goal was the design of the ancient weapon Hades, but now it seems that his ambition is far more than that. Andre turned around, stretched out his hand and grabbed a barrel of wine, poured it into his mouth fiercely, and then raised his arms. Little ones, eat as much as you want, drink as much as you want, and when you're full, come with me. Turn the Sabayati archipelago upside down. Quote. Ho, ho, ho. The pirates raised their glasses together and drank the wine. What on earth are you trying to do? Edward Andre. Staring at Andre's drinking back, Otahime was lost in thought. Through the underwater tunnel on Fishman Island and through the giant cave under the red soil continent, the Sabayati archipelago is within easy reach. As the three ships surfaced, Andre stepped on the bow and looked at the huge archipelago formed by many big trees in front of him, and a sneer raised the corner of Andre's mouth. Little ones, are you afraid? Don't be afraid. Maybe it was because of drinking too much. The pirates were very excited. At this moment, they were waving knives and guns, looking at Andre frantically, waiting for him to issue battle orders. Drinking wine and fighting with blood is what a man should do. Andre's voice stopped, he clenched his fists violently, his muscles swelled, and his forehead burst into blue veins, and then he shouted loudly, so bravely move forward, let blood stain the road beneath our feet, let the morning sound the battle song of the age. Kill them all, I can't wait. An exciting pre-war mobilization not only inspired the pirates, but also deeply shocked Otahime. Is this the gift of the king bestowed by Conqueror Haki? Just when Otoji was thinking secretly, she saw Andre waved his hand. Open the cannon, turn this place into a sea of fire for me. Yes. As soon as Andre's order was given, the three warships fired in unison, and nearly 100 cannons fired in unison. Boom, boom, boom. Pirates, civilians, businessmen, traffickers, and nobles on the Sabayati archipelago were all stunned by the sudden shelling. Soon, some businessmen escaped from the dock. Run, it's Marine who is bombarding. Impossible, even Marshal Marine wouldn't be so bold to attack the Sabayati archipelago. Could it be Buster Call? Fuck you, there are Tenryubito on this island. Tenryubito Desfer, who was picking slaves in the auction house, also heard the news of Marine's shelling, but he was not worried, because he was an extremely sacred world noble, and Marine's shells would not dare to hurt him. However, Desfer was still a little angry, because he saw a lot of panic in the auction house, which had affected his mood today. Tenryubito was furious, but he was going to die. Desper is very angry now, and the consequences are serious. Immediately, he knocked heavily on the table with a cane. The auction continues. It's just marine catching pirates, what a bunch of lowly guys. In addition, help me tell the marine headquarters. And demote these unruly marines today, along with their families, into slaves. Hearing Tenryubito speak, the auction house finally regained its calm. Yes, the great Saint Desper. A follower in a black suit immediately took out a phone bug and began to contact marine headquarters. And in a hotel called Shaki's Ripping Off Bar, in the 13th area, a woman who looked very young with a cigarette said to the only guest in the hotel, "Really, I'm afraid something big is going to happen today." Quote. Yeah, Shaki, who do you think it would be? The blonde man who spoke was none other than the Hades Rayleigh who disappeared for more than a year. Shaki snuffed out the cigarette butt, then put his hand in front of Rayleigh, and said with a playful look, "This island has never happened such a crazy thing, aren't you ready to go out and see? One Piece King of Pirates Vice Captain, Mr. Rayleigh, Hades." Rayleigh shook his head and said, "Forget it, I'm just a coder now, let Marine handle those things." That's such a pity, Shaki smiled, then picked up the bottle and poured himself a glass of wine. The island is raging on fire, houses are destroyed by shells, helpless, terrified, and the once prosperous Sabayati archipelago is enveloped in an atmosphere of death. Little ones, after all the shells are emptied, come to the island with me. The sound of the guns stopped, the gun body was red like a soldering iron, and the continuous rapid fire made these guns have reached their limit. Andre lifted the barrel of wine beside him, poured the wine into his mouth, let the wine spread on his scarred chest, and then threw the barrel to the sea. "Follow me." "Go." Nock followed Andre, holding up the sword in his hand. "Kill, kill, kill." Pirates followed Andre one after another and landed quickly like wild beasts out of the cage.